Okay. Control V, tab. Okay. AlJazeera.com News 2020-12-21. Alarm in Taiwan as China aircraft carrier sails through Strait. Sailing through Crooked. I don't know people's issues. They don't want to send anything going in. The time is too perfect, but it don't matter. It's almost 1:23 o'clock.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Quality forecast for Tuesday. The orange county is 50, or code green. Air quality is expected to be good, with the primary pollutant of small particulate. This is NOAA Weather Radio. All hazards station WXL 58. Operate.
Bye.
Is transmitted from an antenna located on the UNCTV.
And the chief executive, Carrie Lam, imposed last year amid turmoil. A 5-judge panel ruled that the ban on face masks at unauthorized protests and rallies was proportionate and no more than reasonably necessary to prevent violence. The Hong Kong government invoked the power under the Emergency Regulations Ordinance and passed the prohibition on face covering regulation last October as a deterrent to rioters. But the local court said the anti-mask regulation was unconstitutional. The ruling was partially overturned in April, following an appeal from the government. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up, many cities in China are accelerating the renovation of old urban residential areas.
Hey there, join us on a New Year digital concert and meet Canada's lead instrumentalists.
That could have been any dickhead exporting. Fuck these guys.
随便一播，就是像流水一样的很好听的声音。
Watch us live on December 31st, 10 a.m. Beijing time. You find us on China Plus official Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Weibo accounts. You can also find a special podcast version on all major podcast platforms. Just search Music Talks. Let's celebrate the new year with Chinese music together.
846.
Turned in April, following an appeal from the government. Is to better benefit the locals. Xiaoyi has more. One of the major areas.
Hey there, join us on a new
Jesus Christ, what's going on?
Past century, since many senior residents have difficulty climbing stairs. Residential communities near a street in Ningbo, Zhejiang province began installing elevators over 2 years ago. So far, 13 elevators have been installed, giving the street the honor of having the highest number in the city, while 3 others are also being installed and 5 more are expected next year. Many residents, especially the elderly, say they have benefited a lot from the new elevators.
Previously, I had to climb stairs to get home, which is very exhausting. It's much more convenient with the elevators.
There are 2 elderly people in my family, both of whom have had operations on their head. So it's very inconvenient for them to climb stairs. Now we can easily take them out for a walk by taking the elevators.
Another old residential area in Helong, Jilin province, has completed its renovation work. The exterior of the buildings, which used to be dilapidated, have been repainted, while facilities such as drainage, heating, and parking spaces have also been improved. More than 100 buildings from 24 communities in the city were renovated from 2019 to 2020, benefiting over 4,000 households. Some residential areas have also introduced new forms of business that can generate income to balance the expenses from the renovation work. A community in Ganzhou, Jiangsu province, started attracting outside investors after the renovation work began, which eventually led to the establishment of a food street. Local official Zhu Qisong says the stores in the community can generate an annual turnover of 130 million yuan, or nearly $20 million US.
We collect about 90,000 yuan of management fees every month. Most of them were spent on operation and maintenance, while others were handed out as salaries or spent in other ways. We have been able to make ends meet.
Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region has planned to renovate over 1,500 old urban residential areas next year, with all renovation projects scheduled to begin by the end of June 2021. Upgrades and public utilities inside those communities are expected to be completed by the end of next year. China is set to renovate a total of 39,000 old urban residential communities this year, involving nearly 7 million households. All the projects related to the renovation had begun by the end of last month. For the Beijing Hour, I'm Xiaoyi.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree finalizing the members of a new state council that he will head. The new state council will be comprised of more than 100 members from different sectors, including members of parliament, regional governors, and officials from public associations. It'll focus in part on issues related to domestic and external state policy, as well as issues regarding the country's development. A German court was sentenced to man to life in prison for killing 2 people in a shooting attack last year. The shootings took place near a synagogue in eastern Germany on the Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur. The court found the man guilty of murder, attempted murder, and incitement. The man live streamed the shooting in the city of Halle on the internet. Prosecutors said he aimed to kill as many people as possible among the more than 50 worshippers inside the synagogue. 9 people escaped with injuries in that shooting. It's time for a short break so far this hour. Chinese scientists say there's abundant evidence that Chinese-made COVID vaccines are effective. China's calling on the U.S. to return to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Many cities in China are accelerating the renovation of old urban residential areas. Shane Bigham with you. Stay with us here on the Beijing Hour.
Join the most popular Chinese language learning page on Facebook by searching for CRI Learn Chinese. It's a quick yet fun way to achieve your language goals. Start your free lessons now with unlimited videos, photos, and text tutorials on expressions and Chinese culture. CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page. The world opens with 您好.
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday.
Now here's your host, Shane Bigham, with you on this Tuesday morning. Still to come. In business, China's benchmark lending rate holds steady. In sports, the 2020 China Table Tennis Super League. In culture and entertainment, next year's most anticipated Chinese movie. There are a number of ways to contact us. You can talk to us on Twitter at China Plus News, or log on to Facebook, China Plus News, for more news, videos, and analysis. Now checking the day's headlines, Chinese scientists say nearly 1 million people have received domestically developed COVID-19 vaccines, with initial data showing the medicines to be safe and effective. Zhang Zhongwei is the leader of the State Council's Vaccine Research and Development Team, and he says more than 60,000 of the vaccinated individuals have traveled to high-risk countries without reporting a serious infection, which further suggests that the vaccines protect against COVID-19.
Nearly 1 million emergency vaccinations carried out by China fully show that Chinese vaccines are safe. Some of the people who got vaccinated have had adverse reactions, but there are no serious cases.
With 5 vaccines undergoing phase 3 clinical trials, China is preparing to start rolling out its vaccination program to some groups this winter and in the spring. Meantime, Chinese health authorities have advised that COVID-19 vaccinations be administered separately from other inoculations. Officials are also advising people with allergies and certain illnesses not to take the vaccine. China has commented on the new strain of COVID-19 in Britain. Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin.
We have noticed the relevant reports, and we will carefully study and deal with the problem in a scientific and proper way to ensure the healthy and orderly exchanges between China and foreign countries.
British officials have warned that the new strain of COVID-19 is out of control in the country. Many countries have suspended flights from Britain. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says French President Emmanuel Macron is keen to resolve border issues within hours. France shut its border with the UK for 48 hours, meaning no trucks or ferries can leave from the port of Dover. Johnson says he understands worries over COVID transmission, but adds that the risk of transmission by a solitary driver sitting alone in the cab are very low. So far, over 40 countries have banned UK arrivals because of concerns about the spread of this new variant of the coronavirus. European Union member states met earlier in Brussels to discuss a coordinated response, with officials suggesting a requirement for tests could be imposed on all people arriving from the UK.
That's really
useful. The United States has started administering the first inoculations of the Moderna coronavirus vaccine as shipments arrive at medical centers. U.S. Health and Human Service Secretary Alex Azar says more than 5.9 million doses of Moderna vaccine will be distributed to 3,500 locations this week.
We're now on offense against the virus. The vaccines we are distributing are going to save lives. This week, we have allocated more doses of the Pfizer vaccine, approximately 2 million more doses for states and other jurisdictions to order. On top of that, we've allocated 5.9 million doses of the Moderna vaccine.
On Friday, the Moderna vaccine became the second COVID-19 vaccine to be approved by U.S. regulators after the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Initial inoculations have been given to health professionals, Vice President Mike Pence, his wife Karen, and Surgeon General Jerome Adams. China's top legislature has unveiled its work plan for next year. The National People's Congress is expected to consider laws on public health, emergency response, family education, and futures. Lawmakers will also deliberate revisions to the anti-monopoly law, as well as laws concerning the prevention and control of infectious diseases, the progress of science and technology, and education. China's released a white paper on its energy development. The document says the country has reached the target of raising the share of non-fossil energy to 15% in total energy consumption this year. China is currently the world's largest energy producer and consumer. Last year, the consumption of clean energy accounted for over 23% of its total energy consumption, 9 points higher than in 2012. The white paper says China will take more steps to have carbon dioxide emissions peak before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. The largest planets in the solar system have aligned so closely that they almost seem to be a single star in the sky. It was a celestial phenomenon not seen in nearly 400 years. From Earth, Jupiter and Saturn seem to pass each other every few years in the same general area of the sky. That's known as a conjunction. NASA says when the two planets align on this date, they seem to be much closer. It's a great conjunction with only 6 arc minutes of sky separating them. The event has become known as the Christmas star because it's happening during the holiday season. The next time for this phenomenon will be in March of 2080.
You have to acknowledge that.
This is Shane Bigham live from the Chinese capital. Coming up in business, China's benchmark lending rate holds steady.
You're listening to the Beijing Hour. 60 minutes of comprehensive news. Your window on China and the world.
36 minutes past the hour now, turning to business. U.S. stocks finished mixed on Monday. The Dow Jones rose by 0.1%. The S&P 500 closed lower as investors juggled the outbreak of an ominous new strain of COVID-19 in the UK with the passage of a long-anticipated stimulus package in the States. The NASDAQ joined the S&P 500 in the red, but financials helped the blue chip Dow reverse course for a modest gain. Shares of Tesla slumped in their debut on the S&P 500 yesterday, pulling back from record highs. The company's shares sank 5% to around $660 a half hour into the session. In its first day on the S&P 500, the stock was one of the biggest drags on the benchmark index, and it was down around 1.2%. Senior index analyst Howard Silverblatt.
It is a major day for investors as well. Major issue has been added. It is the largest issue we ever put into the index. Did cause some commotion Friday on the volume. It also closed at a record high. Tesla is the sixth largest issue in the S&P 500. And it will have an impact the same way that we measure the Apple and Microsoft, the impact. For every $11 that Tesla moves, the S&P 500 moves 1 point. So it will have an impact, even though it's only one of 500 companies.
Well, in Europe, markets finished sharply lower on Monday, with shares in Germany leading the region. The DAX is down 2.8%. France's CAC 40 was off by 2.4%. The FTSE 100 was lower by 1.7%. China kept its benchmark lending rate for corporate and household loans unchanged in December. The country's one-year loan prime rate, or LPR, a market-based benchmark lending rate, came in at 3.85%. According to the National Interbank Funding Center, the 5-year LPR remained unchanged at 4.65%. Most new and outstanding loans are based on the LPR, while the 5-year rate influences the pricing of home mortgages. With more on this, we're joined by financial analyst Einar Tangen. Good morning.
Good morning.
So LPR rates have not changed in 8 months now. So what signals can we take from this stability in these rates?
Well, quite frankly, the government is addressing what it's been talking about. It does not want more speculation, so it's not going to drive the real estate market by lowering these rates. They want to make sure that people are living in homes, not speculating on them.
Okay, so the economic recovery is picking up steam in the world's second largest economy, with many expecting a rate hike. So what's your take on this? When could it possibly happen?
Well, a lot of going to depend on how things are starting to roll out economically. There's so much uncertainty. A lot of it has to do with what happens after January 20th. These are a lot of political concerns. What kind of attitude is the Biden administration going to take to China? Remember, over the just every day now, there seems to be another issue about kicking Chinese firms off the New York bourse, denying access to chips and things like this. So until you start understanding how the supply chains are going to be rolling out, you're not going to know a lot about which direction they're going to do. Remember, in the work report, it was very clear that they're taking a kind of wait-and-see pragmatic attitude. They will add targeted aid where it's necessary to shore up the economy, but that's going to depend a lot on these political posturing and also how things are responding in terms of this pandemic.
Well, according to a key meeting that gathered top Chinese officials, China will implement a monetary policy that's flexible, precise, reasonable, and moderate. So they're stressing that the money supply should grow at basically the same level as the country's nominal economic growth. Now, what do you make of the wording of a flexible, precise, and reasonable monetary policy for the coming year? What exactly does that mean in the real world?
Well, it includes everything. No, I'm just joking. No, actually, it's very clear. What they're saying is that it's going to be targeted. They're going to do what they believe is necessary to keep the economy, but they're not pushing the panic button, as you've seen in many other parts of the world where, they're throwing money as quickly as they can out the door, both to stimulate the businesses, but also to do much needed relief for personal taxpayers. We see that happening in the United States with these, checks that are going out. This long-awaited $900 billion relief program. China is not in that position. Its economy is growing, but it is constantly reacting to everything that's going on out there. So it's, when you hear all those words put together, just think they're going to be very pragmatic and very measured in how they respond to this situation.
Thank you very much for that. That was financial analyst Einar Tangen talking about rates for corporate loans and mortgages. We're at 43 past the hour now. The State Post Bureau says China's courier sector handled more than 80 billion parcels this year, setting a new record. The sector has been witnessing growth since February as it recovers from the impacts of COVID-19. Between January and November, courier companies handled over 74 billion packages, an increase of 30% year on year, with revenue jumping 17% to 787 billion yuan, roughly 120 billion US dollars. The COVID-19 pandemic has crippled air travel, virtually grounding global air traffic since March, as nations around the world have begun enforcing strict lockdown measures. Guoyan has more.
The unprecedented number of flight cancellations has pushed struggling airlines over the edge, while many global giants have seen record losses and a dependency on government bailout to keep afloat. By April, international seat capacity had dropped by almost 80% from a year ago, and half of the world's airplanes were in storage. Experts said the aviation industry may take years to recover from the pandemic. Airlines and airports have ramped up hygiene measures and introduced innovative ways, such as airport testing and COVID-free flights, to protect passengers and rebuild confidence in the industry. Since mid-November, Lufthansa has been trialing rapid pre-flight coronavirus antigen tests in Germany on selective flights between Munich and Hamburg, which passengers must pass to fly. Australia's Qantas insists that international travelers have a COVID-19 vaccination before they fly. Qantas Chief Executive Officer Alan Joyce described the move as a necessity.
Yeah, we are looking at changing our terms and conditions to say for international travelers that we will ask people to have a vaccination before they can get on the aircraft. Whether you need that domestically, we'll have to see what happens with COVID-19 in the market, but certainly for international visitors coming out and people leaving the country, we think that's a necessity.
From pop-up restaurants to sightseeing flights, airlines have also launched creative ways to generate revenue. Finland's national carrier Finnair started selling its business class meals in the supermarket to prevent job cuts at its catering unit. Others have transformed their passenger jets into cargo planes to minimize financial damage from the shortage of travelers. For the Beijing Hour, this is Guoyan.
The British Food and Drink Federation says France's decision to block trucks arriving from the UK will have negative implications for the food supply chain domestically as well as British exporters. France banned all travel from the UK for 48 hours from midnight on Sunday because of a new and highly contagious strain of the novel coronavirus in southeast England. The closure means trucks cannot get across the English Channel by boat. Goods arriving on containers are unaffected. A number of other European countries, along with Canada, have halted flights from the UK in response to the new strain of that virus. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in sports, the 2020 China Table Tennis Super League.
Beijing Hour.
What? Hello, I'm Peter Dinklage from X-Men Days of Future Past. You are listening to the Beijing Hour.
Hi, I'm Kathy Freeman, and you're listening to the Beijing Hour.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lang Lang. Welcome to the Beijing Hour.
The Beijing Hour, your window to China and the world.
It's 47 past the hour now. Turning to sports, here's Young.
Thank you, Shane. In table tennis, Shenzhen demonstrated itself as a title contender with 2 straight victories as the 2020 China Table Tennis Super League kicked off on Monday. The Shenzhen side, featuring women's star players Chen Meng and Sun Yingsha, conquered ITTF World Professionals 3-0 before powering past Shanxi with the same scoreline. World Professionals team member Lily Zhang of the United States says she learned a lot from her singles game against Chen Meng.
Chen Meng has incredible technique and skills as the world #1. I was trying to play my utmost best from my side to challenge her. I'm somewhat satisfied with the game.
In the men's category, Grand Slam winner Ma Long helped Shandong Lunan seal a 3-0 win over Guangzhou to start their league campaign. Ma shut out Niu Guankai in the singles match. In the third set, Ma came from 5-0 down into win a stunning 10 straight points en route to victory.
When I was leading 2 sets, the opponent played very aggressively and took the lead. I only focused on how to play point by point and managed to catch up. That's it.
This season's Chinese league has adopted the same match format as the Tokyo Olympic Games. In Monday's CBA action, Fujian edged Sichuan 121-113 in a battle between 2 top-tier guards. Robert Golden notched the game-high 44 points for Fujian, while Marcus Hunt scored 42 for Sichuan. The 2 sides were tied at 87 after seesaw 3 quarters. Fujian center Wang Zheling suffered a concussion in the final period and had to leave the court. but Golden stood out and hit consecutive jumpers to nail down the victory. Elsewhere, the more balanced Xinjiang saw 5 players scoring double digits and cruised past Tianjin 105-91. Defending champion Guangdong smashed Nanjing 114-92 with 7 players scoring double digits. Beikong had a narrow victory over Jilin in overtime 112-108. In football, Chelsea ended their recent slump by beating West Ham 3-0 to move up to 5th in the Premier League. Back-to-back defeats had seen the Blues slip down the table, but they bounced back thanks to Thiago Silva's opening header and the brace from Tammy Abraham. Chelsea is now trailing leaders Liverpool by 6 points. An upcoming interview with Lionel Messi could reveal the superstar's decision about his future. Messi has talked to Spanish channel La Sexta, and the interview is set to release this Sunday. The host of the interview described the talk as more than just a speech. There are rumors that Messi will make a personal statement. Messi, who can leave Barcelona for free when his contract runs out at the end of the season, is able to negotiate with other clubs from January the 1st. Barca currently lies 5th in the La Liga standings, 8 points off the pace set by Atletico and Real Madrid. Head coach Ronald Koeman says Messi needs winning games.
I
don't think you need an interview to find out Messi is full of energy, because I can see it every day, and it gets hard for a player like him who is used to winning everything, not to win all games, and it's the case right now. I don't know who he will say during the interview. We will see.
Messi equaled the Brazilian legend Pele's record of 643 goals for one club by scoring for Barcelona in Saturday's 2-0 draw against Valencia. The Argentine star gets his first chance to surpass that record by scoring in tomorrow's game against Real Valladolid.
It is tomorrow.
Yeah. Japanese club Kawasaki Frontale celebrated their sensational season in the J-League with their home fans on Monday. Frontale finished the league campaign on 83 points, 18 ahead of second place, the Gamba Osaka. Led by manager Toru Oniki, Frontale set 3 J-League records: most points, most wins, and most goals scored.
When the season resumed, we decided to play our style of football in order to liven up the J-League and win the season title, and the players kept their words. During the season, we recorded a 10-game winning streak, and then we renewed the record for 12 straight wins. At that time, I was truly amazed by my players.
The celebration also saw club legend Kengo Nakamura officially announcing his retirement. The 40-year-old signed for the club back in 2003 and was part of all 3 of their league title-winning squads. Borussia Mönchengladbach forward Marcus Thuram has been given a 6-game ban and fined $48,000 for spitting at opponents. The 23-year-old was sent off in his side's 2-1 Bundesliga loss to Hoffenheim on Saturday. A video review showed that the French international spat in the face of defender Stefan Posch. Thuram has also been fined amounts of wages by his club. Reports say the fine could be in the region of $180,000, a club record sanction. That money will go to charity. The English Football League Cup final has been pushed back to April the 25th in a bid to be able to welcome fans to Wembley to watch the match. The game was due to be played on February the 28th. The English Football League says the number of fans permitted will be dependent on government guidance in place at the time.
Thank you very much. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in culture and entertainment, next year's most anticipated Chinese movie title. Want to know what's trending in China?
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
Helps you to discover the real China. From the latest news to quirky Chinese inventions, videos, photos, love, and join in the conversation today by searching for China Plus News on Facebook and discover its news, its history, its traditions and culture. China Plus News Facebook page. Open your eyes to the real China. It's 53 past the hour, turning to culture and entertainment. The holiday season's a little bit different this year, with the pandemic still disrupting lives all over the world. Louisa Lee came to a Beijing hotel to capture the essence of the Christmas spirit through delicious dishes, and with a focus on food waste.
Throughout history, shared meals have always been a way for people to bond. Evidence of a 300,000-year-old hearth found near Israel's Tel Aviv indicates that people were already splitting bread back in ancient days. Communal dining is practiced in many cultures, if not all, from the symbolic Chinese New Year dishes in the East to the traditional Christmas foods in the West. We speak with Christian Kronast, the general manager of East Beijing, about this unconventional year due to the pandemic. He says the hotel wants to bring warmth and a sense of home for those who can't travel abroad during this family-centric holiday.
The turkey is the star of the show. The beautiful thing is you have Christmas in China, bullshit. To bring always people together. And this year, I think it's very, very important because of the COVID-19 situation. Obviously, we're trying to make sure that people who cannot travel still work with the tradition and come together and eat and celebrate with their families.
Food anchors more than just celebration. Connections are forged as we share golden moments and the same craving. While we are deep in thought with a Christmas feast, the younger ones are in a sweet shop making gingerbread houses as they take the festive mood to the next level. You like it? Are you having fun? Yes? No? Kronast also adds that satisfying the palates and exciting the hearts of consumers are top priorities. But addressing the issue of food waste is just as important, if not more.
We're having a little bit gingerbread classes, cooking classes, where the parents and the kids can enjoy and mingle together, which is lovely. They like it. And we have also a food for thought downstairs. We have a Christmas tree, which also reminds you a little bit, don't waste all the beautiness of the food, and also, always a thought for giving.
As we enter the season of giving, it's also a time to reflect on our eating habits, especially in the midst of the pandemic when food security is under threat in many countries. In the lobby of the hotel, the Christmas tree-shaped artwork by artist Chen Lei acts as a reminder of the global issue of food conservation, as 1/3 of the world's foods produced are wasted. Keeping the leave no bird behind idea in mind as we feast on, we can be sure to clean our plates and give thanks for what we have.
Again, that was Louise Jolie reporting on Christmas in Beijing and the focus on food. The newest installment in the well-received Detective Chinatown film franchise tops the list of the most anticipated Chinese language films for 2021. That's according to surveys compiled by review platform Japan. Detective Chinatown 3 is set to release over Spring Festival, which falls on February the 12th next year. The franchise has grossed hundreds of millions of US dollars so far. Fantasy thriller Assassin in Red ranks second on the list. Netflix has pinned down the overseas distribution rights for the highly anticipated Chinese costume fantasy film, The Yin Young Master, Dream of Eternity. The fantasy epic was adapted from a popular Japanese fantasy novel. Netflix has acquired the distribution rights for the film outside China and plans to release it on February the 2nd. The company will produce more than 20 language versions for its global audiences. An exhibition displaying more than 100 rare ritual objects has begun at the Guardian Arts Center in Beijing. Visitors get a chance to learn how traditional ritual objects were inspected, maintained, and venerated as sacred objects. One artifact hogging attention is a prayer beads bracelet made of human bone. The exhibition is being hosted jointly by the Palace Museum and the Guardian Art Center.
This is the wrong question.
That's it for this edition of the Beijing Hour. Making news this morning, Chinese scientists say there's abundant evidence that Chinese-made COVID vaccines are effective. China's calling on the U.S. to return the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Many cities in China are accelerating the renovation of old urban residential areas. On behalf of the staff, this is Shane Bigham in the Chinese capital. Hoping you'll join us for the next
5
edition
minutes
of the
left,
Beijing
asshole. What
Hour.
the fuck?
To the world together.
You were 3 minutes ahead. That was like, how the fuck did they do that? This better be. I have diarrhea. I used to know how to say it for red. I know how to say it for red.
I want to learn Chinese.
Minutes.
其实
Then they ran a fucking 5-minute episode after the 25-minute episode. Fucked it all. Never.
Chinese studio.
Wow.
Welcome to Chinese Studio. I'm Cam.
And I'm Jia Jie.
Cam, you were telling me the other day that you were having a hard time getting around the city.
Well, I always need to bring one of those little cards with me that show the address of where I want to go.
So
and if I forget the card, well, I get lost.
Well, that sounds like a good lesson for today.
So you bring the card in case you
Keywords
get
of the
lost,
day.
dumbass. You got lost anyways. He's not even aware
Where
he's
would you like to
lost.
go?
He thinks walking around asking people where he is. He said,
去朝阳公园。
lost. That's lost, bro.
Please take me to the Chaoyang Park. 医院 Hospital. 去那儿多长时间? How long will it take to get there? 多少钱? How much is it? All in today's Chinese studio.
Holy shit, bastard.
So Cam, what is the first thing you hear when you step inside of a taxi?
Well, the taxi driver will
out
say
of
to
my
me something like, 您去哪儿? Now, I assume that means, where would you like to go?
Very good, you got it. As we learned before, 您 is the polite form of 你, means you.
Right, I remember that. 您.
And 去 means to go. 哪儿 means where. Together, 去哪儿 means to go where.
Yeah, sometimes I just hear that. 去哪儿?
您去哪儿? Where would you like to go?
您去哪儿?
Now, please listen carefully to the conversations and you can get more information.
您去哪儿?
去朝阳公园.
您去哪儿?
去人民医院.
So I heard the answer to 您去哪儿? Where would you like to go? Could be 去 plus the name of the destination, right?
Right. For instance, if you want to go to Chaoyang Park, then you may say 去朝阳公园.
去朝阳公园. Easy. And if I want to go to the hospital, that's 医院 in Chinese. Then I can say 去医院 to the taxi driver.
Very good. But I think you need to tell the driver which hospital you want to go. Let's just say, please take me to the People's Hospital. In Chinese, it's 去人民医院.
I see. 去人民医院. But in fact, that's the last place I want to go.
Absolutely.
您去哪儿?
去朝阳公园.
您去哪儿?
去人民医院. There is a much easier way to tell the driver where you want to go. Just say the name of the place. For example, if you want to go to Chaoyang Park, then you could just say 朝阳公园 for sure.
朝阳公园. Much easier. So how long will it take to get to Chaoyang 公园?
Well, you may ask in this way. 去那儿多长时间?
去那儿多长时间?
We learned 多长 in our previous show, which means how long, and 时间 is time.
多长时间?
去那儿 means to go there.
去那儿.
Together it's 去那儿多长时间?
去那儿多长时间?
Good. After you've reached the place, then you can ask 多少钱, which means how much is it?
多少钱? How much is it?
多少 how much?
多少?
钱 the second tone means money.
钱.
多少钱 how much is it?
多少钱?
去那儿多长时间?
大约半个小时。
多少钱?
30块。
Keywords reminder. 您去哪儿? Where would you like to go?
Today.
去朝阳公园. Please take me to the Chaoyang Park. 医院 Hospital. 去那儿多长时间? How long will it take to get there? 多少钱? How much is it? So Cam, maybe now you won't need those name cards to get around town in a taxi.
Yeah, this will help for sure. So today's question of the day is, how do you say, please take me to the People's Hospital in Chinese? See you tomorrow.
明天见.
Hold on, wait a second. You did the hospital. Hold on. I want to go to the one where the poor people go. Because you need poor people, so you don't kill them all, do you?
You're listening to China Plus Radio, connecting you with China and the world.
Well, what happened to your line?
Now the news. I'm Shane Bigham. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's received the first dose of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. The 78-year-old's in the high-risk category for the virus. He's calling on Americans to get the vaccine when it becomes available. COVID-19 cases in the United States have surpassed 18 million, with close to 320,000 deaths. With supplies limited, many states have put healthcare workers and nursing home residents first in line for vaccinations. World Health Organization says it expects to get more details soon on the potential impact of the new coronavirus strain reported in the UK. WHO emergency expert Mike Ryan says there's no evidence that the mutated variant of the virus increases the severity of the disease.
There's zero evidence at this point that there's any increase in severity associated with this disease. Clearly, work is ongoing to look at transmission and the increased rates of transmission and how much of that is attributable to this particular variant.
Although more transmissible, the UK says the new strain shouldn't be resistant to vaccines. WHO technical lead for COVID-19, Maria Vankova, says scientists are looking into the body's antibody response to the virus.
The scientists in the lab are working on these types of studies and looking at the antibody response, and we expect results from those studies in the coming days and coming weeks.
The UK reported the new strain of COVID on Saturday, prompting countries to close their borders to Britain over fears that the new strain could spread further. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says French President Emmanuel Macron is keen to resolve border issues within hours.
Overflow, and of course, we're working with our friends across the Channel to unblock the flow of trade as fast as possible. And the government at all levels is communicating with our friends in Paris.
France shut its border with the UK for 48 hours, meaning no trucks or ferries can leave from the port of Dover. Johnson says he understands worries over COVID transmission, but adds that the risk of transmission by a solitary driver sitting alone in the cab are very low. So far, over 40 countries have banned UK arrivals because of concerns about the spread of the new variant of coronavirus. European Union member states met earlier in Brussels to discuss a coordinated response, with officials suggesting a requirement for tests could be imposed on all people arriving from the UK. The Chinese foreign minister is calling on the United States to return unconditionally to the Iran nuclear deal and lift sanctions on Tehran and third-party entities and individuals. Wang Yi attended a video conference on the Iran nuclear issue yesterday with his counterparts from Iran, Britain, France, Russia, and Germany. He also suggested that Iran completely resume the fulfillment of its nuclear commitments on the basis of a U.S. resumption. The Iran nuclear deal was inked in 2015. Washington withdrew from it 3 years later and unilaterally reimposed sanctions on Tehran. President-elect Joe Biden has said that the U.S. is willing to return to the agreement while the Trump administration continues to intensify its pressure on Iran. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree finalizing the members of a new state council that he will lead. The new state council will be comprised of more than 100 members from different sectors, including members of parliament, regional governors, and officials from public associations. It'll focus in part on issues related to domestic and external state policy, as well as issues regarding the country's development. 2 men have been found guilty of manslaughter in the deaths of 39 people from Vietnam after their bodies were found in the back of a refrigerated truck near London last year. Eamon Harrison's a 24-year-old truck driver from Northern Ireland. He was found guilty of 39 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of conspiracy to assist unlawful immigration. 43-year-old George Nika from Essex was found guilty of the same charges. 2 others had already pleaded guilty for their roles in the deaths. The largest planets in the solar system have aligned so closely that they almost seem to be a single star in the sky. It was a celestial phenomenon not seen in nearly 400 years. From Earth, Jupiter and Saturn seem to pass each other every few years in the same general area of the sky in what is known as a conjunction. NASA says when the 2 planets align on this day, they seem to be much closer. It's a great conjunction with only 6 arc minutes of sky separating them. The events become known as the Christmas star because it's happening during the holiday season. The next time for this phenomenon will be in March of 2080. And that's the news. I'm Shane Bigham.
You've been out to hear about it for a while. They broke your ship, but you better got the insurance.
Studio Plus, a feast of news, culture, and views.
All right, let's go.
Tune in to
43-year-old Borchnika from Essex was found guilty of the same charges. 2 others had already pleaded guilty for their roles in the deaths. The largest planets in the solar system have aligned so closely that they almost seem to be a single star in the sky. It was a celestial phenomenon not seen in nearly 400 years. From Earth, Jupiter and Saturn seem to pass each other every few years in the same general area of the sky in what is known as a conjunction. NASA says when the 2 planets align on this date, they seem to be much closer. It's a great conjunction with only 6 arc minutes of sky separating them. The events become known as the Christmas star because it's happening during the holiday season. The next time for this phenomenon will be in March of 2080. That's the news. I'm Shane Bickle.
Whole milk powder. This is natural vanilla flavored. Would that be vanilla milk, chocolate, cocoa solids, 32%?
How can you experience real life in China without making that trip to the fabulous Middle Kingdom? How do you get to meet people living in China without actually coming face to face with them? Welcome to Chinese Theatre, a program that seeks to immerse you deeply in the sights, sounds and tastes of China, just as if you're touring the country in real life and getting involved in the daily lives of people living here. Join us for Chinese Theatre and be blown away by the joys and sorrow, dreams and passion, love and devotion, aspiration and struggles of the people you'll meet. Chinese Theatre, a journey of a lifetime and an inspiration for the soul.
30.5 grams of fat.
Hello and welcome to Chinese Theatre, a program that seeks to immerse you deeply in the sights, sounds, and tastes of China, just as if you are touring the country in real life and getting involved in the daily lives of people living here. In today's edition, we'll continue with the Chinese television series entitled My Beautiful Daughter-in-Law Era. The series tells a modern Chinese couple and their relationship with each other's families. Now stay tuned.
I want to tell you something. I'm grateful to you.
Oh, you don't need to be grateful for anything.
You have educated your daughter so well. She's so great.
Oh, God, okay.
Even my illness, if Dodo wasn't here, I could have not recovered so well. She gave me massages. She massaged me on her own.
It's hurt you.
She agreed to physical therapy. Let me tell you everything.
That got really weird.
Flood stage is 15.0 feet. The flooding is occurring in minor flooding is forecast. The river is expected to rise to a craft
I know it's still, the problem is I never got a chance to watch the second. Jackets on the top and shirts underneath it. That's not wrong. What do you mean it hits the water treatment?
I love your fucking TF Travis.
Looks like did you say all?
How you doing? Bro. Come on, chill. Man, you been looking for me. What I do? Got the gun? It's a wrap.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides is on Crip, nigga. Gang banging that Crip shit. Niggas calling up cause of them blue shades. My people still was right behind and they no nigga pulling up in no new rave. It was cool to that gang raid. Now these tough guys just never act right. Blood can fill a whole bathtub. Let these blood brothers get baptized. Blacklisted, I'm the bad guy. Plus some dark skin, so I'm the black guy. Never see me like black ice. And we still pack cannons at shack site. Niggas swear they the man. Another light skin brother, like, really what you talking about? Niggas say you in the can. Try to kill him on the track, let the people still chop him up. I ain't trust anybody that'll walk around. Pop kind, only reason that they popping up. Niggas strings on my shoes like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang. Yelling that shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got ready for the startup. D-Rose and they ain't even put his guard up. Not one person goes hot for the city. Got a mainstream level. Talk about the topics that's product. Tell me if they ever seen a bite that is hot up. Knock me out and mad that I got him. TTC, till Trippz. I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Putting it around in a hustler. But they agree to keep it on the hush though. I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm shoed up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma bomb it. 32 shots, can skeletons out the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law, niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any bucks. Not King Otto, but I'll show you how to semi-buck. Type of strap, you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots, so who's guillotine? You ain't not really banging these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'm banging the east. Nigga, crip. Have a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother. If you diss one of my brothers, then your blacks to the shadow. I'm like Welvin, yelling up God, so you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll perk when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. The stocks work. So for lock, you'll get shot up. I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides is on.
I don't see that. What's the fucking point of this? I'm just restarted and then you gotta start this bot all shit. I never gave you permission to do nothing with this shit. What the fuck? I guess I'll just leave now because this is gonna fucking happen now. Fuck it. Don't give a fuck, but out here on the computer, you can't do fuck all. Yeah, this app isn't responding, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what the fuck are you telling me for? Right, more fake fucking flash messages. Thank you. Since everybody knows I don't give a fuck, what is the fucking purpose? Right, I've got better shit to do than give a all of a sudden everything's gonna work perfectly. Hey, what'd you do to the music, stupid? I didn't turn it off, so you're click. Where'd it go? Thank you. Yeah, all I do is eat Dutch chocolate all day, stupid. I'm supposed to give a fuck what you think. Oh, it works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work. Yeah, okay, well, fuck. Okay.
Everybody wanna rap just some pocket change. See, I got dreams to be on stage, on violence, see down my rain. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. See, I got hip hop, that shit done changed. Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. See, I got dreams. That shit done changed.
Oh, now it'll do it, right? No, now the other side of the screen's not working.
I'm over here fucking with TF Travis.
This is not
Is that a phone?
Hey, my arm hurt.
Hi, how you doing? Bro. Come on, chill. Man, you been looking for me. What I do?
It's a wrap.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides is on Crip, nigga. Gang banging that Crip shit. Niggas calling up cause of them blue shades. My people still was trying to hide, and then no nigga pulling up in no new wave. It was cool to that gang raid. Now these tough guys just never act right. Blood can fill a whole bathtub. Let these blood brothers get baptized. Blacklisted on the bad guy, plus some dark kids on the back guy. Memphis see me like black ice, and we still pack cannons at shack site. Niggas swear they the man. Niggas say you in the can. Try to kill him on the track, let the people still track him up. I ain't trust anybody that'll walk around. Pop kind, only reason that they popping up. Niggas strings on my shorts like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang. Yelling that shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got waiting for the start of. D-Rose and they ain't even put his cut up. Not one person goes hard for the city, gotta make sure
So literally,
talk about the type of
an
sex
hour
product.
and 15
Tell me if you ever
minutes,
seen a
not
bite
rolling
that
his
inside of
door.
Not me up mad that I got him. CCP real like a nigga just a product. Think he's styling and you could just see him in his product. Big gun bust from a nigga look a maga. Party next door, need a shot in a box. Tell Jay Prince I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Squinting in a round and a touch flow. But they agree to keep it on the hush though.
I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm shoed up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma bomb it. 32 shots, can skeletons out the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law, niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any fucks. Now King Otto, but I'll show you how to semi-buck. Type of strap you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots. So who's guillotine? You ain't all really banging these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'm banging the east, nigga. Crip, 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 crip. Have up a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother and I put that on my daughter. If you just one of my brothers, then your blacks could have shot up. I'm like Welvin, yelling out God him. So you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll perk when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. The stocks will so for lock, you'll get shot up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. The stocks will so for lock, you'll get shot up.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides just on.
Well, I was gonna roll it down underneath this. Fuck that.
I'm over here fucking with TS Travis in Florida. I'm gonna block him, man. Drinking. Is that a phone?
Hey, fuck y'all. Hey, my arm hurt now.
How you doing?
You alright?
Bro. Come on, chill.
I gotta go back to my house.
You been looking for me?
So in Canada, there's no Miranda rights. Because they're playing this game about this American doing national anything, then I don't have charter rights, you dumbasses. That's why you won't listen to me saying that fucking stick.
My peoples, it was right behind, and then no nigga pulling up and no.
All I wanted was for them to sit there as long as possible so I could soak up some of the heat in the car. Oh, you're not gonna let me fit it, dickhead, he's playing you. Fucking take it to the cells where it's cold.
Never see me like black ice. We still pack cannons at shack size. Niggas swear they a man. But the lights can't brother like, really what you talking about? Niggas say you in the can. Try to kill him on the track, let the people still track him up. I ain't just anybody that'll walk around. Pop kind, only reason that they popping out. Niggas skins on my shoes like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang, 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 gang. Yelling that shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got waiting for the startup. D-Rose and they ain't even put his guard up. Not one person goes hard for the city, got a mainstream level. Talk about the type of sex product. Tell me if they ever seen a bite that inside of. Not me up mad that I got him. CCP real like a nigga just a product. Think he's styling and you could just see him in his product. Big gun bust from a nigga look a maga. Party next door, need a shot in a box. Tell Jay Prince I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Squinting in a round and a touch flow. But they agree to keep it on the hush though.
I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm shoed up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma bomb it. 32 shots, can skeletons out the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law, niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any fucks. Now King Otto, but I'll show you how to semi-buck. Type of strap you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots. So who's guillotine? You ain't all really banging these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'm banging the east, nigga. Crip, 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 crip. Have up a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother and I put that on my daughter. If you just one of my brothers, then your blacks could have shot up. I'm like Welvin, yelling out God him. So you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll perk when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. The stocks will so for lock, you'll get shot up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. The stocks will so for lock, you'll get shot up.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides just on.
I'm over here fucking with TF Travis in Florida.
This is the work of Bellissima in Florida. All stainless steel from India. Bellissima. That rusty shit in the sewer grates and in the fucking curb cuts and shit, that's retarded.
Chill.
Why they bought that media? You knew that was gonna rush. Did they salt the roads there?
Even looking for me what I do.
That's done. It's a wrap.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides just on Tripp, nigga. Gang banging that Trippz shit. Niggas calling up cause of them blue shades. My peoples, it was right behind, and then no nigga pulling up in no new rave. It was cool to the gang raid. Now these tough guys just never act right. Blood can fill a whole bathtub. Let these blood brothers get baptized. Blacklisted on the bad guy, plus some dark skin, so I'm the black guy. Never see me like black ice. And we still pack cannons at shack sites. Niggas swear that they're the man. Now the lights came brother like, really what you talking about? Niggas say you in the can. Try to kill them on the track, let the people still chop them up. I ain't trust anybody that I walk around. Popcorn, only reason that they popping up. Niggas strings on my shoes like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang. Yelling that shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got waiting for the startup. D-Rose and they ain't even put a start up. Not one person goes hard for the city, got a mainstream level. Talk about a type of sex product. Show me if they ever seen a bite that is hot up. Knock me out and mad that I got him. TCP relay, the nigga just a product. Think he's styling on you cause you seen him in his product. Big gun bust from a nigga look a mocker. Party next door, I need a shot in a buckle. Tell Jay Prince I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Squinting in around in a touch flow. But they agree to keep it on the hush though.
I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm shoed up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma bomb it. 32 shots and skeletons out the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any bucks. Mac ain't auto, but I'll show you how to sell me buck. Type of strap, you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots, so who's guillotine? You ain't all really banging these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'll bang in the east. Nigga, crip. I rep a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother and I put that on my daughter. If you diss one of my brothers, then your blacks to the shot up. I'm like Welvin, yelling out God, so you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll perk when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. It's Locks World, so for lock, you'll get shot up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. It's Locks World, so for lock, you'll get shot up.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides was on.
I keep skipping the same track back over and over. I'm gonna get selected. Oh, what the fuck's going on?
Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wavy, you remind me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see we rich and I swear what's up financially. Like who we frontin' for? They flying like there's a trampoline. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. It was a Magdalene. I shot like a little bro, a Tagalog. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's with favorite class riches we trying to mine. The nigga with the gate and Sega, but they were dragging on the Megatron, landing in Lebanon. We was slapping that back and forth like a tether ball. Used to live on French Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches wanna ship and make us film it like espionage. You know the spot is set for it. Like why good niggas ain't potential neck for it. Chopping in shifts to be wet. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it. right into your dome when I get it out the chest to joint rapper. When you going towards our music, maybe when we go on towards
she didn't have to get it through the fucking Nazis. She just let me know she's still got it.
If you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve.
I know damn well that Starbucks been closed for a year. Where'd you get that?
You just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings.
Yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. Cut these fucks in the chin and they die with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. You can't find the apple nuts, you can find that chocolate. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me, that match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline, I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Calm me down, calm with the crowd. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, Lord. No, I'll play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track, they go way back. I buy them up, top your mark. Look where the safe at. Put numbers on your head, you already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it, you turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed, they wanna break that, boy. Like, bringing all that beef to the farm, my man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat, your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot, pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's lying to us is lying face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really about all that talk, we just do shit. I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. I'm the last of a down breed. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. I'm the last of a down breed. My grandfather told me at one point when he was a kid, he collected rags in the street and washed them and cleaned them and he sold them to the shopkeepers. Depression, stylies, hustlers. And you'll never pick up something to sell as quick as ever. Oh shit. That's a dry cough. How's a dry cough a symptom? A wet cough is a symptom. Dry cough is a symptom. You read these signs because they all have the same six symbols. You know, one at your head, one at your chest, one at your... Okay, gunshot liquor. You don't read the words close to symptoms. People just make it up as they go.
I'm Trinidad when my boy smoked a coca. Your homie got hit, he was riding like a chauffeur. Planet of the apes, I was blood like clover. Poke pop, come with a strap, swing off the shoulder. In the coffin, shutting the litter, giving you closure. You ever get close, something's coming out the holster. People ride the train, they're gonna see you on a poster. We poster, but you never talking when we approach. Get the black or line, and now you're doing the most. Kill him in my yard, nigga, like I could host. Didn't notice they pull guns when you thought you could roast. It's a dose. Know you love niggas, need some milligrams. Sitting with a milli, he be posting it on Instagram. Dust ass love me, selling quarters after kilogram. Chrome polish so good, swear I used to pillow pack, baby. Fried chicken, oxtail gravy. Shaking up the crown like an earthquake in Haiti. Stop trying to rap, it's like how you niggas don't save me. You got straight yourself trying to play me.
You made some changes to your login experience. If you change my login, guess what? I'm never logged in again. That's your problem now. You don't notice it when I get money in and I goes out. I go a long time without logging in.
Gunshot for your head time. For grind, nigga. TG. Some of them niggas that we beefing is so lame. My brothers them clips, my gun black, and I spit like gold. 4 white boys who let it sing like Coldplay. I sat back and got a
flash back on my old ways like knocker. 30 shots up in the fucking chopper. He got shot but shot back and couldn't see the doctor. Nigga better, cause nigga have a better. Remembering the day my brother got it, couldn't get it. My brother got a Mac 11, see it's no better. And 2 bad light-skinned bitches for the sweater. My city getting crazy and nigga. Moms losing their babies, I know the pain to have to carry my nigga. To a place to yet to bury my nigga. Fuck, but since then, we got a couple heads to bury the trigger. Like what I keep a gun for. Cause in these streets it's a blood sport. Not to mention links from the gun store. You shouldn't have died him here. The kitchen bodies here. As soon as niggas slap that metal on that bottom here. I need no one, I'm blasted by myself. And I'll keep beating metal to the plastic on it melts. Shoe sets to the pin break. Niggas been fake. And my pocket is that big change. Shotgun test and up his body. And I'm a pop aimer. You know me, I'll take his head out his body. Whole shirt looking like ketchup. Fuck for the ketchup. Found that at the scene on me for ketchup. I hit him with the 40, they sticking like he's chicken. They're aiming at his mans, they been stabbing like they pissing. If you ain't know this clip 433, Scotty Pippen. My belly blue steel like it's dripping. In the Greek wooden sport, the mean blow smoke. And even in the winter, shells hang up the smoke. I'm trying to make it like Trey Trades. But I let the grass speak, I ain't have the grassy mixed with no fake shit. My old friends are only humans wrapped in snake shit. Uzi open book, blow back at me shaking. My white boy been the realest to me. Niggas always my niggas.
I really don't care to get play this stupidness and fuck around with my shit. I really don't care. I'm literally killing time. Like, you've wasted an hour and 45 minutes of this shit. Like, today. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I still got the important parts out today. So what? Well, I never stopped. See, and that'll work. And now it'll change. Why?
I just got back to 19. And we nigga fuck that shit. Maybe it can be or a little dialogue.
YG back in the tracks, my crack shit's bounce to the stack. Niggas don't love you, that's a fact. Keep them back, no cheese. God bless me, no sneeze. Niggas see me and breeze. Shorty, no shit, he's got the strap that slap. It moving like a stack. Relax, just rack. Put him in a box, no jack. Roll one deep, never need a pack. Hey. Niggas know me from north to the south. Never need no one, make my own club. Southside, reach apart, nigga, that's my road. Niggas selling drugs, man, I'm in a drought. They all know what I'm about. Stuck in red, talk shit, catch sleds. Head talk shit, snow meds. Red, stay away from the feds, on the streets, no bed. Hey, deep water, I drank, I snow, no sled. House want me dead, this day I dread. Bitch gave me hit, see my strap, they fled. Hey, I know they said I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. Now pussy, I'm rich, they low, don't switch, they saw the one bitch. See the flick of the wrist, I'm on some shit, talk shit, get hit, big punk, call me lit. I keep my stick, I let it flick just like a pick. I'm in his house like old Saint Nick. She want my dick, she know I'm sick. I ain't a grip that crack, I nip, I hit his lip. If he talking shit, fuck his click and fuck his gang. I'll hit the 3 just like I'm dang. She wanna kang that 40 I bang. If he owe my gang, them hollows dang. My shorty's pang, she loves when I sang. She feels the pain, I'm in the rain. Hit a state if the means getting paid. And this my click, you getting laid. I'm in the trap, the cops did a raid. I got that work, you know it's a grade.
There's a black man parking his Jaguar, and the police decided to plant drugs off him. They took off another drug dealer that they let go. He basically served 6 years. He's let out 66 started record label.
Hit him with a slug, go mix, move slow. You know me, I'm a love my dough. Gotta make sure my boys gon' flow. They love my beat, they rate my flow. My neck is cold, it's 0 below. Big wrist gon' shoot, you know I drove. I keep my heat, I ain't talking about a stove. I'm in a trap, selling food, no fresh code. That nigga wants beef, my strap gon' blow. Every time I drop a truck, my cloak gon' grow.
Batman, 20 t-shirt, number back. I just Batman 2019. Then we nigga fuck that shit. Maybe it can be or a little dialogue. No, bro.
YG back in the tracks, crack shits, bounce to the stack. Niggas don't love you, that's a fact. Keep them back, no cheese. God bless me, no sneeze. Niggas see me and breeze. Shorty, no shit, he's got a strap that's slap. If you moving like a stack, never lack, just rack. Put him in a box, no jack. Roll one deep, never need a pack. Hey. Niggas know me from north to the south. Never need no one, make my own club. Southside, reach apart, nigga, that's my road. Niggas selling drugs, man, I'm in a drought. They all know what I'm about. Stuck in red, talk shit, catch sled to the head. Off the shits, no meds, never fuck on the red. Stay away from the feds, on the streets, no bed. Hey, deep water, I drank, I'll snow, no sled. I'll swamp me dead, this day I dread. Bitch gave me head, see my strap, they bled. Hey, I know what they said, I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. Now pussy, I'm rich, they low, don't switch, they solid one bitch. See the flick of the wrist, I'm on some shit, talk shit, get hit, big punk, call me lit. I keep my stick, I let it flick just like a dick. I'm in his house like old Saint Nick. She want my dick, she know I'm sick. I ain't a crip, that crack I nip. I hit his lip if he talking shit. Fuck his click and fuck his gang. I'll hit the 3 just like I'm dang. She wanna kang that booty I bang. If he own my gang, them hollows stang. My shorty's pang, she loves when I sang. She feels the pain, I'm in the rain. Hit a state if that means getting paid. And this my click, you get it late. I'm in the trap, the cops did a raid. I got that work, you know it's a grade.
I saw a diesel Passat today.
Just back, man. You know you're rocking, man. Wire end, you see Woodbine and paint, man. You know you're rocking. Got the whole strip locked down.
And one diesel, right? You all buy the regulars. You all buy the regulars. Only one person will get the
Hit it with a slug, go slow. You know me, I'm all about my dough. Gotta make sure my boys gon' glow. They love my beat, they rate my flow. My neck is cold, it's 0 below. Big wrist gon' shoot, you know I drove. I keep my heat, I ain't talking about a stove. I'm in a trap, selling food, no fresh code. That nigga wants beef, my strap gon' blow. Every time I drop a truck, my growth gon' grow. Made sure he told me, don't love a hoe. I should've known that she was right. Because of that, we really tight. I'll bust my strap if she gon' fight. Hoodie on, alright at night. I'll show my might, never flight. 40 with the demon, he inciting. I ain't missing, I ain't slipping, never tripping. Coke I'm whipping, check my waist, I'm really dripping. Packs I'm flipping, niggas talking, niggas stitching. Trigger finger really itch for niggas that want me dead. 9 on me, a 2 in the head. These niggas run to God like Ned. Check my flag, it's really red. Married to the game, not newlywed. Niggas watch my every move, they just wanna see me lose. These niggas lost like blues. My flow is sick, it's got the flu. Hey, I make bread, just call me Dempster's in her mouth just like a denture. I am icy, looking fresher. Fuck that bitch, I'll never miss her. She respect me, call me Mr. Since she left, I have been better. Really wish I never met her. Page these niggas like a letter. Hey.
There's like 4 pronunciations. You gotta say them in the right order, you might get stabbed.
I just got back 2019. Then we really fuck that shit. Maybe we can read or low down. No, you're okay. Hey,
My G back to the tracks and the crack shit's bounce to the stack. Niggas don't love you, that's a fact. Keep them back, no cheese. God bless me, no sneeze. Niggas see me and breeze. Shorty, no shit, he's got a strap that's slap. They moving like a stack. Never lack, just rack. Put them in a box, no jack. Roll one deep, never need a pack. Hey. Niggas know me from north to the south. Never need no one, make my own club. Southside, reach apart, nigga, that's my road. Niggas selling drugs, I'm in a drought. They all know what I'm so stuck in red. Talk shit, catch sled to the head. Off the shits, no mess. Fuck on the red, stay away from the feds. On the streets, no bed. Hey, deep water, I drank. I'll snow, no sled. I'll swamp me dead. This day I dread. Bitch gave me head. See my strap, they bled. Hey, I know they said I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. No pussy, I'm rich. They low, don't switch. They solid one bitch. See the flick of the wrist. I'm on some shit. Talk shit, get hit. Big punk, call me lit. I keep my stick, I let it flick just like a dick. I'm in his house like old Saint Nick. She want my dick, she know I'm sick. I ain't a crip, that crack I nip. I hit his lip if he talking shit. Fuck his click and fuck his gang. I'll hit the 3 just like I'm dang. She wanna kang that booty I bang. If he own my gang, them hollows stang. My shorty's pang, she loves when I sang. She feels the pain, I'm in the rain. Hit a state if that means getting paid. And this my click, you get it late. I'm in the trap, the cops did a raid. I got that work, you know it's a grade. Just back, man. You know you're rocking, man. Wire end, you see Woodbine and paint, man. You know you're rocking. Got the whole strip locked down. Hey. Hit it with a slug, gonna make a move slow. You know me, I'm all about my dough. Gotta make sure my boys gon' blow. They love my beat, they rate my flow. My neck is cold, it's 0 below. Big wrist gon' shoot, you know I drove. I keep my heat, I ain't talking about a stove. I'm in a trap selling food, no fresh code. That nigga wants beef, my strap gon' blow. Every time I drop a truck, my coke gon' grow. Made sure he told me, don't love a hoe. I should've known that she was right. Because of that, we really tight. I'll bust my strap if she gon' bite. Hoodie on, I'll ride at night. I'll show my might, never flight. 40 with the beam and EM sightin'. I ain't missing, I ain't slipping, never tripping. Coke I'm whipping, check my waist, I'm really dripping. Packs I'm flipping, niggas talking, niggas stitching. Trigger finger really itching for fake niggas that want me dead. 9 on me, a 2 in the head. These niggas run to God like Ned. Check my flag, it's really red. Married to the game, not newlywed. Niggas watch my every move. They just wanna see me lose. These niggas lost like blues. My flow is sick, it's got the flu. Hey, I make bread, just call me Dempster's inner mouth, just like a denture. I am icy, looking fresher. Fuck that bitch, I'll never miss her. She respect me, call me Mister. Since she left, I have been better. Really wish I never met her. Page these niggas like a letter. Hey, Tito, both sides. Man, it's easy on the mic with you now, man. Straight to hard. You know the clues to that. Yo. We them zoes, nigga, we don't fuck around. We them zoes, let them fuck around. Let them fuck around. Yo.
Nigga, what it is? Nigga, what it ain't? Talking all that shit, we ain't even step in the paint. You niggas be trying to be what you niggas really ain't. We put on all that noise like we driving in the tank. Got a couple of years when they see you, they gon' crank. Kill them with the real steppers when we watch you on thing. They gon' get your ass wet, and I ain't talking about no saints. Got the AK-47, when I shoot it, I don't blink, but I don't really give a fuck. Yeah, I told you something, tell me I'm gon' bust. I just wanna fuck, I don't want no cup. Y'all was up, come with better check before this shit get real. Got them shooters down the day with jump off you just like a pill. When I pull up at that nigga score, hop out like what's the deal? Nigga fuck with me, I'm gonna kill him, shoot him like a brick. I don't really give a fuck, I just shoot him over the stick. And nigga fuck with me, I'm gonna spit him down like a brick. I'm just riding around town, shooting 100 rounds. I got them trees, yeah, you know I got them pounds. We them zoes, nigga, won't fuck around. Like what you saying, J? I got a chopper, best believe you gon' be laying, J. When I pull up, we gon' leave your family praying, J. Got them drinkers, got them choppers, yeah, we spraying shit. Yeah, and you know I got them active, niggas send fucking active. We can shoot away you right. Got souls down the blow, down the pole in your cap. You be on the go, but when they see we gon' attack. We gon' attack. And that's for sure, y'all. You gon' get smacked. You already know, y'all. She fuck with me, cause I'm a soldier. And I keep that 40 tuck like I'm a soldier.
Let me straight soldiers in this shit, man. Fuck y'all niggas out there. Y'all think about some real shit, man. Hell no, fuck niggas, bro. Man, I run up on the real soldier. I ain't said we every time.
I'm in the game, so you know I got a stick. Shoot you in your shit, my niggas down and let it rip. Run around Palm Beach with that bitch on my hip. And if the nigga got an issue, they go down and take a trip. No, this ain't no game, no, this ain't no game. We be really touching, yeah, we got them things. Nigga, you can't hang cause you a fucking lame. And if I catch you slipping, we gon' shoot you in your fucking brain. We ain't aiming at nothing, but you don't. Like, nigga, leave me alone before I hop out with the chrome. Get all these hundreds, nigga, I don't need no loan. And if you rapping with no action, we gon' pull it to your home.
Man, y'all ain't ready for this shit. You feel me, man? Shout out to everybody out here in Palm Beach, you feel me? Straight easy on this bitch.
Revolution.
Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters. Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters.
Yo, I'm stuck high with the raiders with Kevin Nash with the diesel, like all the lyrics cerebral. Headed to the ring, see my nigga walking like D-Lo. Feet 5'4" like a giant bigger than Big Show. All I really know is how to start. And who the tree truck the end of the month. Now I'm bad shit. Free time more the end of the blunt. You say they MCs. Most of them just rhyme off one syllable. Listen to the beats and you wonder how were they killable. I'm so down to earth, we were living in minerals. When there's a maximum sentence, niggas ain't getting minimum. Criminal records getting numbers, we couldn't visit them. Trying to have faith, but more was looking like Little Kim. In that mind situation, they can play in no middleman. Take it to the source, like Casino and Eminem. Trick ain't no niggas but pay them, so they defending them. I hate these dick riders, us are switch-siders. Try to keep this fire contained like pick lighters. My nigga in and out of Miami, that's Swiss Priors. What the fuck's why I've been rapping for Rough Riders. I need my credit now, 50 bands for the fire.
I watched my lawyer in court, said you're hired. I heard the Gully Demon tape, I was inspired. What up, love? She want the illness like Giallo. Through the city where the dark clouds follow. Jets to Vegas, my girl stretching naked. This world crazy, to survive you need mental patience. So I'm never making cause weather changes. Control climates when the cold flow demonstrated. Ride no waves, choose to stay true. Salute the DJ when my music's played. Shallow graves, we cruise get laid. Watch dudes get paid. Smoke a blunt when my suit gets made. Top dollar when you pay the best. I be sinning more, praying less. Blindfolded while I'm playing chess, place your bets. Prepare when I take the test. I'm the reason you can lay the rest. Yo, I cook so much that I can feed the masses. Write the gospel, speak the passage, see the madness. Sam Rothstein flicking out casino ashes. I coach the squad like Cito Gas.
Communication screw-ups at Heli.
As I look into your eyes, I realize that we're living off the white man's lies. There was no compromise, just a seat as I faced the defeat that was put here long before me. At times I find it hard to accept. I ask God, is this a test? Is this really all we have left? Cause my son's life is just getting started, and life is seeming harder just to try stay above the water. I remember the days of way back when we had no gang fights, we had no crack pipes, and brothers got along in the families. What the hell went wrong with the families? My reservation.
Feeling the pain, the strain on my mental weighs heavy. Genocide makes me live my native life deadly. I hope you get me. If you don't, let it marinate. The mind state of my people, we try to set that straight. We never brought residential schools to this place. We never brought alcoholic fluid to our tastes. We would never go and try change you. What you did to my descendants changed the elders' lives too. And all the time you knew, now we feeling reserved, living disturbed, living a life we never deserved. The native way of thinking ain't the way of the old. It's time to look toward the future, let our story unfold.
Feeling reserved, man, that's how I'm living. I gotta do with this mic I was given to try to get by, no word of a lie. We gotta try to restore pride. I'm feeling reserved, man, that's how I'm living. I gotta do with this mic I was given to try to get by, no word of a lie. We gotta try to restore pride.
Reservations only. No need to wait for seeding. Natives continue bleeding. The circle just keeps repeating. This feeling filling the void. Exploring people changing. It's why I turn the tables like time. Turning the page and going against the grain. And engaged in hell throughout the day. Yeah, no way it's simple or plain. Need to maintain through these pains. Taking these short ends. Making on causing. And feel like abortion. It all costs. So all the real can gain applause. Reserves relentless. Yo, it's what I gotta contend with. So that's the rest demented. Genuine arsenal lessons from beneath the ground sentence. To bless those four elements. This mic, this light, this rest, this life. I represent my residence.
Sweet grace, how music lets my mind take flight. Red lights, my life, living awake of sleepless nights. Read my eyes colorblind, catch a glimpse of baby's sight. Realize there's more to see than all this rock around me. Grant this this girl a beat and let my soul run free. Amidst the plague of war, there ain't no way I'd rather be. One love for my people, UNITE. Instead of feeling reserved, my reserve feel
I'm
me.
feeling reserved. Man, that's how I'm living. I gotta do with this mic I was given to try to get by. No word of a lie. We gotta try to restore pride. I'm feeling reserved. Man, that's how I'm living. I gotta do with this mic I was given to try to get by. No word of a lie. We gotta try to restore pride. I'm feeling reserved. Man, that's how I'm living. I gotta do with this mic I was given to try to get by. No word of a lie. We gotta try to restore pride.
I'll show you one time, force you to learn. I'ma show you one time, force you to learn. Then it's over for you clowns and you forfeit your turn. Torture and burn, kill with no remorse or concern. I put your ashes on a metal in a porcelain urn. Court is adjourned, life bids handed out, no speaking. You better watch your step, cuz no sleeping. Put your goons in a hot whip, slow creeping. Hopping out, masked up, the flow deepens. Season cats that blasted for no reason. They ride for the cause, blasted the Mohicans. Blast of a dying breed, you don't wanna die and bleed. You will perish violently if you see the iron squeeze. Time to leave, shit is gonna get mucky. No miracles, you ain't gonna get lucky. It isn't gonna play like that. You gon' stiff and you gon' stay like that. Lay right flat, you gone. Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone. Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
This shit's waiting for the rush. Keep the 40 tucked. Talking about we let the 40 ball nigga story up. Corner hot form tap, follow home. Police watching, 10 drop, pen talking hoes that be street walking. A deep option is to get the beat popping. A peace offering went to saying rest in peace often. Sleep coffin 6 feet, death is a must. Arrested and cuffed, prison ride next is a buff. The roll call, but the paper keep us warm in the night. With more faces, bottle ace, but we pouring the light. Tunnel vision, eyes knock, all I see is a dollar. Piece of shit in the mirror, all I see is my father, fuck him. The game got us all twisted in a hurricane. Lost my mind when the crime came and the murders came. To all my niggas getting bread on the grind, there's no bail when you're locked doing federal time.
You gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
I challenge any motherfucker to come harder than me and Graham. Piece of lamb, empty the clip until I see him land.
All out, empty the strip, people fleeing grand.
I need a plan, triple beam scaling and kilograms.
Illegal jams, no options available. Coppers are tailing you, close friends failing you.
Penny ginger ale, a dude cushion a glass jar. Cocaine moving dope faster than NASCAR.
Trying to earn hard, but you crashed in a firestorm. Trying to live the life of a G in a higher form.
My dogs are riding for blood in and blood out. If you ain't down with my team, bitch, get the fuck out.
I take a bullet for my fam, I'm my brother's keeper. It ain't about no music, the struggle's deeper.
Drugs and tweakers searching for the best rock. Trap house, T-grams, crack man, next shot.
Gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wavy, can remind me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see we rich and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They flying like there's a trampoline. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. It was a Magdalene. My shop like a little bro with Tagalog. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's Rosewood, beer real class riches we dragon on. The nigga with the gate and Sega, what they were dragging on. The Megatron landing in Lebanon. We was slapping it back and forth like a tether ball. Used to live on Fletcher Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches run the strip and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set for it. Like why you niggas ain't protect your neck for it? Jumping in shifts till we win. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it right into your door when I get it out the chest to drawer rapper. When you going towards our music, maybe when we go on towards our shootings. Like other straps got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a dying breed. Yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in the chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. So big, don't sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me. That match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline. I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Call me down, calm with a crown. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me not. No, I don't play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track. They go way back. About them up. Top your mark. Look where the safe at. Put numbers on your head. You already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it. You turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed. They wanna break that, boy. Like, you're bringing all that beef to the farm. My man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat. Your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot. Pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's liking to us is liking face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes watch shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really about all that talk, we just do shit. I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down breed. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. I'm the last of a down breed. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. I'm the last of a down breed. Gunshot liquor filter. 50 drum beating like so 50. Out in Trinidad where my boy smoke was close. Like your homie got hit. He was riding like a chauffeur. Planet of the Apes, I was blood clot closer. Pop pop, come with a strap. Swing off the shoulder, in the coffin, shutting the letters, giving you closure. You ever get close, something's coming out the holster. People ride the train, they gon' see you on a poster. We poster, but you never talking when we approach. Get the black go online and now you're doing the most. Kill him in my yard, nigga, like I could host. Didn't notice they pull guns when you thought you could roast. It's a dose. Know you love niggas need some milligrams. Sitting with a milli, he be posting it on Instagram. Dust ass lummy selling quarters out the kilogram. Chrome polish so good, swear I used to pillow pack, baby. Like chicken oxtail gravy, shaking up the ground like an earthquake in Haiti. Stop trying to rap just like how you niggas don't say me, you got Rachel still trying to play me. Said I wasn't sick, but I'm sick though. I give you gangster rap or calypso. We never stop eating like it's a pit bull. And young boy can't stop squeezing, he got his with the hammers. Shorty in the kitchen, chicken like Louisiana. I kill her like Diana. I go to sleep with a rifle in my pajamas. I was childish, but my Gambino no Atlanta. Gunshot for your head time. For the grind, nigga. TG. Some of them niggas that we beefing is so lame. I run with them clips, my gun black and it spit like old days. 4 white boys who let it sing like Coldplay. I sat back and got a flashback on my old days. Like blocker. 30 shots up in the fucking chopper. He got shot, was shot back and couldn't see the doctor. Nigga bled out, cause nigga I was fed up. Remembering the day my brother got it, couldn't get up. So I went and got a Mac 11, centimeters no wetter. And 2 bad light-skinned bitches for the setup. My city getting crazy and nigga. Moms losing their babies, I know the fiends have to carry my nigga. To a place yet to bury my nigga. Fuck, but since then, we got a couple heads to bury the trigger. Slings what I keep a gun for. Cause in these streets, it's a blood sport. Not to mention links from the gun store. You shouldn't have died in here. They're catching bodies here. As soon as niggas slap that metal on that ball of mirror. I need no one. I'll blast it by myself. And I'll keep beating metal to the plastic on it melts. Shoot shots to the pin break. Niggas been fake. And my target is that big chain. Shotgun test, half his body. But I'm a top aimer. You know me, I'll take his half his body. Whole shirt looking like ketchup. Fuck for the ketchup. Found dead at the scene. No need for a stretcher. You don't wanna see us, boy. Shoot that boy, niggas in your eye. 75, yo. I hit him with the 40, hit him sitting like he's chicken. Then aiming at his mans. They was standing like they pissing. And you ain't know this clip 433, Scotty Pippen. My belly blue steel like it's dripping. Man, the reaper done spoke, the mean grow smoke. And even in the winter, shells hate up the smoke. I'm trying to make it like Dre did, but I let the grass speak. I ain't have the grassy mixed with no fake shit. My old friends are only humans wrapped in snake shit. The Uzi open book, blow back at me shaking. My white boy been the realest to me, but my niggas always my niggas, and they kill for a fee. When it comes to me, G, they be killing for free. My niggas own the killing room, I probably kill just to leave. I feel you, my nigga. The time can't kill you, my nigga. And if it did, fuck grams, cause you still be my nigga. I hold it down, but that joint's cruising. Hit this town, leaving wet like his joint's ruined. Instead of running by me on my foot, and my joint shooting. I could turn you to an angel, you could join Cupid. He's so stupid, and that nigga ain't wild to me. It's October, he's slumped over in a pile of leaves. And I'm over the whole fact that he was rocking with these filthy ops from the other side, copping his keys. I pop through with a Glock and tell him drop to his knees. Shoot his head like a balloon, cause I could pop it with ease. Use dudes, bullets that you could swallow like popping knees. And my niggas in your trip like they shot from property. Couldn't believe he threw it, but through that wire he was speaking through it. I heard his words loud and clear, he was speaking fluid. Shots hit his doors, get enough for peeping through it. And this pistol that I keep, believe him leaking through it. The old school's back and real niggas life again. Loudness, tell big and pop that it's the time again. Spit for this ground, but we spit, man, we living it. Gave back my name, cause my chili, it was wiggling, swiggling. You could play Glad or Grim Reaper. I always had these inside moves that jump niggas. That's my hidden messages, baby, it gets deeper. In the morning, dirt comes like Alicia. You know they do the shit that's quiet. I'm upset like a light skin. That hype man got smoke up to hype them. Really like, y'all ain't got the right pen. The phones that you writing, shut them like the right way. Swear she dislike them. I'm sliding in like a TDM. 3 niggas strapped up, writing in BMs. The W coming through, taking a long with you. If I hung with you, don't now you know there's a reason why I don't fuck with you. I set for it. Every day I used to roll with Kevlar. Used to kill kings, now I'm hunting nights to the Templar. Had us put on top for the rifle, them bullets got far. When I tap your dog, that's what you need in the vet boy. Boy, we still connect, boy. Trapping out these shit shots. They won't win. I'm Vince McMahon, the air gunshot. And gunshot lick off. It's burning like hot sauce. The party get dropped out. Streets get locked out. The niggas whack.
where the mob gets you knocked out. That boy got shot in his back, he try and walk out. You niggas wasn't fit for the grind, they better know now. These niggas stood tall like grass and got mowed down. These niggas stood tall like grass and got mowed down. Shit used to be cold, now I'm cooking in the kitchen, right, left, sunny, lifting, lane switching, steady dipping. I'm not here to play. I've been walking through hell, I'm not here to stay. You asking what I'm burning? Smoking Mumbai, and who are they? A bunch of haters with nothing so good to say. OC, MTL, mark this on your log. We bringing so much smoke, the streets catching all the fog. I ain't a crow, this my job. Fire behind the power, I'll devour like the mob. Everyone got a prop. Keep it humble in the meantime. You'll see why I got a gun find a stink like I'm blowing up beehives. I've been chilling in the shadows, playing for battle, a kid to travel and dance skedaddle. Go meet the gavel, start giving me space. So if I get lucky with this money, then I'll be pulling that ace.
Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. And it's for my haters, though. Yeah, we got that greatest look. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Ready to go, with some hooligans. Yo, what's up, hooligans? And I be grinding, I'm on my grind, bro. And I be smoking on that killer that be that high, yo. Hood famous nigga, yeah, you know we getting high, yo. Smoking on that purple cause I don't fuck with that lean, though. Oh my god, killing shit like my name is Zod. Superman flying high like I'm in the fucking clouds. Red and black, got my back rolling, push straight up at the pack. And my O's and Cheerios. Got some silly hoes, playing just like hooligans. And you know we play the way. Hit the pot, I'm smoking in these bitches, they so extra shit. Suck a dicky fucking bitch, I gotta hit the block at 6. I gotta chop, he need a fix. Phone it ain't called letters 6. Gliding through the pockets quick, pussy niggas talking shit. I ain't telling lies, ho. After one, yeah, that's my click. No more key up next, bitch. Haters on that trolling shit. I can never get rid of this, so we taking up the thing. This is for my haters, up. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. And it's for my haters, though. Yeah, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Ready to go, with some hooligans. Ready to go, with some hooligans.
I'm over here fucking with TF, traveling with Floyd. I'm on the block right now. Drinking. Stay on the phone. Stay on the phone.
Hey, fuck y'all. Hey, my arm hurt.
How you doing?
You all right?
Bro. Come on, chill.
I gotta go back to my house.
Man, you been looking for me. What I do?
Got the gun. It's a wrap.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides on Trippz, nigga. Gang banging that Trippz shit. Niggas calling up cause of them blue shades. My peoples, it was right behind, and then no nigga pulling up in no new rave. It was cool to that gang raid. Now these tough guys just never act right. Blood can fill a whole bathtub. Let these blood brothers get baptized. Blacklisted on the bad guy, plus some dark skin, so I'm the black guy. Never see me like black ice, and we still pack cannons at shack sites. Niggas swear they the man, but the light skin brother like, really what you talking about? Niggas say you in the can, try to kill him on the track, let the people still chuck him up. I ain't trust anybody that'll walk around. Pop kind, only reason that they popping up. Niggas skins on my shoes like crocodiles. They know they fucking with me like a crocodile. Gang. Yelling that shit that you never been a part of. I know niggas I got ready for the startup. D-Rose and they ain't even put his guard up. Not one person goes hot for the city, got a mainstream level. Talk about the top of that product. Show me if they ever seen a bright that is hot up. Knock me out and mad that I got it. TCP relay, the nigga just a product. Think he's styling and you could just see him in his product. Big gun bust from a nigga like a marker. Party next door, I need a shot in a pocket. Tell Jay Prince I don't give a fuck, yo. Fighting for a rap with a cut though. Quitting in a round and a touch flow. But they agree to keep it on the hush though.
I'm blued up, I'm crewed up. For the F43G, I'm chewed up. Any nigga that really want it, I'ma find it. 32 shots, skin skeletons out the closet. You don't wanna be back down with your belly up. 4 double law niggas hopping on the heavy truck. We give bullets, but niggas don't give any bucks. Mac ain't auto, but I'll show you how to semi-buck. Type of strap, you may need to get rid of me. Really take headshots, so who's guillotine? You ain't all really banging these streets. Got heat from the west, but I'll bang in the east, nigga. Crip. I rep a gang that you never been a part of. I put that on my mother, then I put that on my daughter. If you just one of my brothers, then your blacks to the side up. I'm like Welvin, yelling out God him. So you ain't gotta ask Biggie Smalls who shot him. I got a Biggie pump that'll work when I pop up. Had to move work in the slums just to guap up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. It's Locks World, so for lock, you'll get shot up. Now I hit the club, tell the bartender top up. It's Locks World, so for lock, you'll get shot up.
I might die for this shit, nigga. All them homicides on.
Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. See, I got dreams to be on stage. Well, I'm violent, see that I'm on some rage. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Hip hop, that shit done changed. Everybody wanna rap for some pocket change. See, I got dreams to be on stage. Well, I'm violent, see that I'm on some rage. Like a machine with nothing to go against. I'm on point when I flow the best. I see these haters rapping and talking, knowing that they acting like Christopher Walken. Homie, just a joke with the yapping and flopping before you get left toe tag with a doctor. On my shit proper, y'all full of fake threats. When you see me, I'll bounce like late checks. See my shit go hard like fake breasts. Are you real? I don't think that makes sense. Nothing can change this. Red and black coming, so thanks for your patience. Why?
What happened, miss?
This car, it came out blue. I couldn't get out of the way.
Did you get the license number?
No, it happened so fast.
Computeristic gamma, gangster lady, taxi, analog, and bag of active sonic wheels, bionic mobiles. Computeristic gamma, gangster lady, taxi, analog, and bag of active sonic wheels, bionic mobiles. Transmitted, admitted, you
Couldn't get it till I split it in two and wasn't with it till it attacked you. Infatuation, verbalization, spit at you. Duck the oral boomerangs back to smack you. Raw with this infectiousness. Hydraulics got spring like mattresses. In fact, this is bionic Oldsmobile. The sonic wheels like Panasonic. We play this on Alpine units and bomb with critical napalm fluid. Platinum wrap, plutonium liquid. See how we flow leak out the tap like water. Mega verbal slaughter. Silk simp, cheap, sick and sharp in the sea. You touch me, you catch a charge from the energy. I'm blessed with tremendously hot spit. Straight out the cockpit, distract the clock tick, then blah. The vocab is mad, meticulous in the way we split the alphabet to tab. Ridiculous, say the light. Peripherals match the hindsight. Hit the high beam, flow, it glides right. Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles. Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles. Protocol, a master mechanic, ratchet, or twist me. It's the oscillator in me. One our privacy of your mainframe, better yet brain frame. Please not attempt to refrain or restrain your catalog of rhymes, cause I would definitely dog mine. Fucking all my hoes from behind. Look at that fat ass, smack that ass. Hot nut skeet, wipe off your mother's sheet. Believe me, I've achieved the epitome of the automotive industry. Automobile, those that feel they can drive better than me, great. Take the motherfucking wheel and navigate. See it through obstacle courses and impossible forces and transferred to you by me by simple exchange of the Oldsmobile key. Drop the money and you know how my dick inserts perfectly. But just jerk me off, bitch. Look at me, I'm rich. Look at my old mag chrome cell phone. Why the fuck go home? Just kick back, clutch it, just drink the nut and shut the fuck up. Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles. Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles.
Toxic extract from the land of the lost. Missile control, red view, hydraulics, bucket seats. Intervene in the breeze, overshoot, 3-point range at strange rates. Strange pace, opera sound, Shakespeare. Get my breaks done at Great Bear. Urination champion, ultimate breakdown, crazy legs, spin ahead. Break dancing with a bomb and fluid to get through it. Dancing like a ballerina with skates on. The Indy 500, AJ Floyd to get this race on. Richard Petty looking under the hood, 4-cylinder, millimeter heater. Drinking Genevieve, the oil check, standpoint, man point engine. 4-pipe, mic, standing on the racetrack like Batman. Star car, distributor, delivery. Analog cubic feet with hubcaps falling off. Coming up the street with a helmet and Trojan like Roman. Evil force like the Omen. Pakistan travel out for extra challenger. Daytona 2000 to Racer X. Drink the bell wires, changing the wires. Right on Jim, spin the flame in the backseat. Listen to rock, him smoking weed with great bait. Smoking mystical taste.
Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles. Computeristic gamma, gasoline, tactic, analog, and galactic sonic wheels. Bionic Oldsmobiles.
Did anyone see this happen? I didn't, Major. This car dropped on and he jumped up around the corner. He hit her and sent her up into the air 20 feet. Then it took off without even slowing down. She landed hard on her back and it was terrible.
Who would have thought nothing could have not just something? So when I'm in the booth, it's super bad like McLaughlin. I ain't nothing, just address the fact that I'm different from average cats. So stay with my habitat. Can you answer why these other dudes claiming that they so sick? But fuck that shit, I deserve my toxic salutations. Follow congratulations, my time to shine. So sorry, but I've run out of patience. Calls full of ego, y'all are full of envy. Keep igniting these beats until the tank is empty. Please don't tempt me, I wish somebody would. I see you mad and good, making sure it's understood that we on top like the ozone layer. You choose to oppose, you'll be a fool's naysayer. The way I can close
bones just sends chills down your back. Got you fiending for more, you could call me ass crack. I'm addicted to the shit, the way I rip and flip the script over any instrument. God damn it, it's just so intricate. I had to vent a bit, blame it on the marijuana, but I'm changing the game like Diego Maradona. Do you get it now? I want this in the worst way, like a virgin trying to get laid on the first date. No signs of fatigue, you best believe I'm addicted like ecstasy. Hip-hop, this shit's my destiny. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. Rap till I die, rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. Rap till I die, rap till I die.
Automatically deployed, weapons kicking when I'm ripping it. Till I go missing when I start to do my mission. My speed on the racing, amazing on the microphone. Find your product list of all my lyrics, feeling psycho. Yeah, you got a psycho tones, me, I got a psycho tone. Don't make it partial, release expression, put you up in it. I'm music, addiction, I'm marvel, I'm master. Assaulted you talkers, applying disasters. Falling on the harmony, shooting all of you common things. You like the demon with a mean, you don't follow common nigga. I ain't conceited, I ain't cocky, I just know my way well. When they say I'm the illest, they ain't hard to fucking tell. I represent it to the fullest. I'ma break up on these bros till I get hit up by some bullets. I'm a hater, a player of the game, and call the murder. The great man do the reaping in my contract, I'm a server. Word up, yo, here's a fucking piece of advice. When you playing with my team, we like fire the ice. I'm a mess, the alphabet like Albert Fish to the kid. And kill it up when I get finished like that shit that he did. Damn, who would've thought this fat kid was fresh like that? That nerdy ass dude spit, that fresh cooked crap. This shit's the one that shot your tears out of the but the abstract, dropping product to bust. What?
I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. Rap till I die. Rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. I want this shit forever, I could rap till I die. Rap till I die. Rap till I die. We don't find that the clouds are usually from the blunts, defying gravity like evil Knievel stunts. Yeah, you can say we're raising the bar from where we're sitting, busy gazing at stars from here to cloud your vision. Be honest with what you do in my position, can only spread my wisdom, it's time for you to listen. Made mistakes before, life's a learning process. A couple tries and I'm hurdling all its objects. On top of the game, amazed by my intellect. Derelict and rip this set and show these dudes that we the best.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All the homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you make and that's the price you fucking pay. Like, I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All the homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you make and that's the price you fucking pay. Like this, that, doing donuts in the lot. Don't stop at a red light stop. Walking flock on the flock. Jumping walk on the clock. On the cell with the fuck, with the fuck, with the fuck. Is it feeling good? I don't know. Going ham in this bitch. You saying, what you saying? Heading back to the crib. Big bucks and homie with a couple ribbons and I guess another one, a piece of shit. I just had a premonition last night. I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All the homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you make and that's the price you fucking pay. Like, I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All the homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you make and that's the price you fucking pay. Like,
godless heathens, that's just the way I feel. Screaming native lives matter, but Indians would rather drink whiskey than pay their bills. Yelling native this and native that, root for a redskin and get a native mad. As soon as I say I'm native, everyone reacts and wanna hate me and call me a vulture cause my hair ain't black. But my skin and my eyes ain't brown. But I seen you at the last powwow, talking about genocide like you was around back then, like you was really hunting and gathering back then, like you was really warrior up back then. Okay, look, I heard you want to complain about the conditions you from, so it's worse than the ghetto, yeah, it's worse than the slum, but if it's so fucking bad, then why don't you run? America's free, you stupid idiot, you can do what you want. I work my ass off and pay my taxes for what? So y'all can sit on the grass, free everything and pretend it was stuck. But yeah, you're sitting there spending money on liquor and drugs so you can drop your babies off at your sister mother recovers. Man, y'all already late. You motherfuckers need to get your goddamn priorities straight. Wait, it's like you're proud to be drunk, lazy as fuck. You'd rather do drugs than get a job and be up. But then you want to turn around and complain about alcoholism and addiction rates. Get the fuck out of my face. You can't escape the problems. You can smudge for a change, but can't earn a dollar. You got nobody else to blame, so you blame Donald. So it's fuck the world with America great again, kind of. And my voice ain't missing, I'm not racist. My great-great-great-grandma was Indian, I'm not racist. My family told me she was a strong and proud Cherokee princess. I heard y'all was fighting the feds. That's probably why there's not enough jobs on the grass. Well, maybe you should build a Walmart and evolve instead of cashing per cap checks and staying drunk till you're dead. I'm not racist, but I never lie. I think there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. I worship the Einsteins and study the Steve Jobs, but you ride crazy horse's dick like he was a fucking god. Oh my God. All you do is care about drinking and drugging and bitching about something, but that's just the Indian within you. The old ways is rotting your brain, and it slowly starts to convince you. Then you allow your kids to join you and the cycle continues. Blame it all on the menu, blame it all on the drinks, blame it on everybody except your own race. Blame it on white privileges, blame it on white kids, blame it on white citizens instead of changing how you live. Man, y'all just a bunch of savages. Trying to stop a pipeline, burning cars and mattresses. Water is life, I'm assuming you drove a car. That's kind of ironic with the battle you're trying to fight. I'm not racist. But look at the feathers that's hanging over your head. What are you thinking? Where did you get your civilized training at, bud? Cut the fucking hair, you goddamn Indian. Put your fucking shoes back on. Wash your face and stop singing your songs. Quit that Indian stuff. And maybe the government will stop killing you fucks. Yo, what the fuck? I'm not racist. It's like we live in the same building, but split into 3 floors. I'm not racist, but there might be 3 sides to every story. With a little respect, I know what happened to you natives, man. I agree it was bad, but that's y'all's fight, y'all's problem. That shit isn't labeled black. And a matter of fact, how you gonna get mad for me for liking the football team when you steady acting black? Try to rap, busting a sag, stay in the verb, nigga, but nigga, you ain't black. I'm not racist. See, I understand you think the word redskin is equally bad, but have you ever met a black and it fell on a man that's equally sad? See, we don't have no control over that. That's the white man with the power, so go argue with him and try to get some of your land rights back. Oh, now it's cultural appropriation. No, motherfucker, please. Getting mad at Nicki Minaj or Snoop Dogg for wearing a cheap head trash when you should just be relieved that they're keeping your culture alive without charging a motherfucking fee. Hip-hop's a black thing, motherfucker. Y'all just wish I was a black man, motherfucker. Y'all don't know about Tupac and gold chains, motherfucker. I'm not racist. My great-great-grandma was Indian. I'm not racist. My family told me she was a strong and proud Cherokee princess. Check out my good hair, check out my cheekbones, check out my brown eyes, check out my skin tone. I'm not racist. I'm just prepared for this type of war. I seen those Indians on the MTV music awards. What the fuck are they fighting for? I bet I see them later at the bar, the liquor store. Wait a minute. Don't you motherfuckers get all that casino money? Living in TPs on the red with some fine ass Indian honey? I'm not racist. Shit. I hate them white motherfuckers too. Shit, man, look what they did to me and you. Dividing and conquering like we don't have a clue. We can keep arguing until we black and we blue, but that won't change the fact that they're killing me and you. As
It's all about the rich, it's all about the poor, it's all about the greed, it's all about getting some more. You can't lie, you natives that go to war, straight down for whatever you're standing for. So to be honest, I can't even remember what the fuck we arguing for, cause I'm not racist. It's like we live in the same building but split into 3 floors. I'm not racist, but there might be 3 sides to every story. I wish I knew yours. I wish I knew yours. Really wish I knew With all disrespect, I don't really like both of you motherfuckers assuming that's just where I'm at. Like both of you guys screaming "Go Redskins" on NFL Sunday, what type of shit is that? While some stand for the anthem, others take a knee. I'm trying to fight racism, but can't see the irony that they fighting against racism, but ain't fighting for me. I thought it was fuck all racism, not just freedom of speech. Yeah, I know you're black, I know you're white, but what color do we all bleed? Yeah, we shouldn't drink, but we do. And that's just what it is. Doesn't mean you can crack jokes because you got Indian friends wanna be a redskin. That word originated from murder and genocide. So when I hear it, it ignites a spiritual fire inside. It's not a word that honors any of us. It's just something they say to pretend they rockin' with us. Nah, you're right. I wasn't there fighting any soldiers physically, but that don't mean I'm not affected by the genocidal history. The boarding school children that died by Christianity, the survivors that got away, but not with the sanity. That shit gets to me. Where's the humanity? Yeah, I like rap because that's all we get. I ain't gonna lie, hip-hop is the shit. We struggle with identity, struggle within. You both say pray to Jesus and repent for your sins, but I'm sorry you can never know my life. Try to have faith but never feel alright. It's hard to elevate when you're not black, you're white and the brown. Sympathize with Mexicans now. So it's definitely for Christopher Columbus and Trump. Fuck John Wayne, fuck his horse and his hat. And fuck you too, motherfucker, if you can't handle that. Some of us get jobs, others getting per cap. Some got casinos, others don't get that. You think you know everything, but you don't. Try and copy our heritage and steal everything for your own. Fake ceremonies, pretending your dances. Burning man gurus and spiritual trances. Fuck, I'm exhausted. And you don't know about my people are so strong. You don't know about the powwows. You don't know about the song. You don't know about the fried bread, man. You don't know. I'm not racist, but I never lied. I know there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. Yeah, I praise Crazy Horse like he was a fucking god. He was fighting for the people way before he fucking died. Die, savage. And all y'all care about is money and power. But that's just a colonized mind within you. Hatred in your brain, so it slowly starts to convince you. Then you teach your children and the cycle continues. Blame it all on the drunk Indian, blame it all on the race, blame it on everybody except your own race, blame it on the looks, blame it on Redskins. When we stood against them dapper, man, that was the illest. Cause even though we lost, it let us know some of y'all was standing with us. I'm not racist, but I cry a lot. You don't know what it's like to be in a rough spot. Wake up on the prayers and see what you ain't got. Suicidal thoughts, who cares if you die or not? I love and I hate you all at the same time. I wish we could trade shoes or we could just change lives so we could understand, but that shit'd just take time. I'm not racist. It's like we live in the same building but split into 3 floors. I'm not racist, but there might be 3 sides to every story. I wish I knew yours. I wish I knew yours. I really wish I knew yours. Blessings.
We in the hood shopping, ain't nothing changed. Soldiers that I roll with, bang. My homies stay guns, throwing up fingers, sipping on some. We don't like strangers, thug in my blood from the very first day. Certified VA official, don't play. Go the other way, don't come around here. Catch you sleeping on me, leave holes in your gas.
big stacks and get that when I'm out of the block. If you find, I suggest you get back and get knocked. You're getting money over here, I don't know what you got, cause the watch you got it too big to fit in our socks. I'ma hustle hard way before I came out the block. I'm in the spot all day, even when it gets hot. Only when you see po-po, everything stops. And when the yo goes, then it's back over the chop. Kill the crap, I'ma get my brother with plus. I'm a fight squad, boy, your boss so fucked up. These jacks play the vision, stand up, now let's drop. Cause when we step in the building, we alive, you hear guns pop. In this month, we got clocks, times money, so what? Cause if you stand in the way of my bitch, get right. Better get that clientele, do you not? Ain't no motherfucking games, I get that.
You know, shopping, ain't nothing changed. So said I roll it back. My homies stay bars, throwing up fingers, sipping on some. We don't like strangers, dog in my blood from the very first day. Certified VA official, don't play. Go the other way, don't come around here. Bitch sleeping on your nigga hoes and you get. I walk in like a presidential. I got numbers like a Mexican crew. I'm next to win too. I've been up for my grizzly. They looking at me like, who the fuck is he really? I thought I done told them. I got more momentum than a rolling. I'm poking, I'm provoking. Like me in a coffin. I'm dirty when I kill it. Like a little fishy on the skillet. I'ma cook it, I'ma choke it, I'ma skin it. I'ma eat it, I'ma finish, I'm a rider. Till the day I die, cause I'm all cause a conqueror. Extraterrestrial, motherfucking Martian. I'm just getting started. Playing Jordans on the roads that I march with. I'm off in a black Cadillac in the chopper. Hanging out the window with a bottle in my hand. I'm stepping up a black rubber band. We in the hood shopping, ain't nothing changed. So said I roll it back. My homies stay bars, throwing up fingers, sipping on some. We don't like strangers, dog in my blood from the very first day. Certified VA official, don't play. Go the other way, don't come around here. Bitch sleeping on your nigga hoes and you get. We in the hood shopping, ain't nothing changed. Soldiers that I roll with, bang.
Maybe you could announce what the song is, guys? You don't mind?
North Singers back in Neil Ground, New Brunswick. That was epic. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? This is Franklin J here at All Things Wabanaki. Welcome to episode 5. Episode 5. Yeah, it kind of sounds a bit Star Warsy, but actually it's not. In today's show, and how would I say that? In our show, All Things Wabanaki, we will be discussing Aboriginal incarceration in Canada, the treatment of First Nations, religious rights, and the law. Even though we have 60 minutes, we'll try to put it all together in a way that's educational and informative for our listeners. We will be featuring excerpts taken from a lecture entitled The Gladue Decision and Aboriginal Access to Justice, 11 Years Later, What Has Changed?, which was held and sponsored by the UNB Aboriginal Law Society of Fredericton back in March 2010, with guest lecturer Justice Harry Laforme in Ojibwe Justice here in Canada. Also, special guest Freddie Lee Jr. Metallic will be joining us via teleconference from Rimouski, Quebec, to share his thoughts on today's show. Metallic submitted his own independent report in February of 2004 to the Mi'kmaq people of the 7th District Gespegawagi, calling for attention to Aboriginal and human rights violations occurring in detention centers throughout Quebec, specifically at the New Carlisle Detention Center. We will discuss his findings of his report and what sparked his initiative. If you're wondering what this is all about, it's about a decision that was decided back in 1999, the Supreme Court of Canada decision called Gladue. Now, the Gladue decision takes a look at the landmark decision takes a look at the issues brought forth by the Supreme Court of Canada in 1999 that decreed that judges must take into account the unique circumstances of Aboriginal people when passing sentences on Aboriginal offenders. While the Gladue decision has since had far-reaching impact, considerable disagreement remains as to the meaning of the decision and the manner in which it is to be applied. This episode will attempt to shed light on the original intent of the court decision, the conflicting views on it, and the opportunities that this important legal milestone represents, and the work ahead for upholding that Supreme Court decision as it will require. Now, I'd like to give special thanks before we play some excerpts from the lecture back in January when the Honorable Justice Harry Laforme came in. I actually was invited as a student, but also in the capacity as president of the Native Students Council. So I went down there, a couple of friends of mine, and we took out our recorders and we just sat back and listened to him. And very, very informative, very, very straightforward, hard-hitting subject matter about where Native people come from in Canada. What are their circumstances? What is the face of Aboriginal people in Canada? Where are we coming from? And Justice Harry Laforme really put that into perspective. So I want to thank the UNB Aboriginal Law Society. You can search them on Facebook and join their group, UNB Aboriginal Law Society. The Aboriginal Law Society of UNB, located at Ludlow Hall here on campus, acts as a source of support for its members and for its Aboriginal students at large, and raises awareness of Aboriginal affairs by educating and sharing information to both the community within the UNB Law School and to the general public. Now, we're kind of waiting for a phone call to come in from Rimouski. I was just speaking to Fred a second ago, so I had him call in on the wrong line, so he's going to call in on the right line this time. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to give you just a brief bio on Justice Harry S. Laforme. He's a Mississauga Ojibwe and a member of the Mississauga of New Credit First Nation, was located in southern Ontario. He was born and raised on his reserve, where his mother and some of his family continued to reside and remain active in that First Nations government. Justice Harry Laforme graduated from Osgoode Hall Law School in 1977 and was called to the Ontario Bar in 1979. He articled with the law firm of Osler, Hoskin and Harcourt and joined that firm as an associate in the practice of corporate and commercial law. After a brief time with Osler and Hoskin, he commenced his own practice specializing in Aboriginal law In practice, he litigated and focused on matters involving the Constitution and Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He has appeared before each level of court and traveled extensively throughout Canada and represented Canadian Aboriginal interests in Geneva, Switzerland, New Zealand, and the British Parliament. In 1989, Justice Laforme was appointed Commissioner of the Indian Commission of Ontario. In 1991, he was appointed as Chair of the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Land Claims. He taught the Rights of Indigenous People law course at Osgood Hall Law School in 1992 and 1993. In October 1989 to June 1990, Justice Laforme served as co-chair on the Independent National Chiefs Task Force on Native Land Claims. In January 1994, he was appointed a judge of the Ontario Court of Justice General Division, now the Superior Court of Justice, Ontario. At the time of his appointment, he was one of only 3 Aboriginal judges ever appointed to this level of trial court in Canada. In November of 2004, Justice Laforme was appointed to the Ontario Court of Appeal. He is the first Aboriginal person to be appointed to sit on any appellate court in the history of Canada. So that's Justice Harry Laforme. And again, as we're waiting for Mr. Metallic to give us a call back, I'm just going to give you a little rundown about a report. Freddie Lee Metallic, aka Baby Fred, is from the Mi'kmaq community in the 7th District in the Wabanaki territory called Listiguch. The old traditional elders used to call Listiguch Ukchiguch. Ukchiguch meaning like a great father or a place of great providing, a great providing place. Now he's been experiencing, like, I'll have him explain it a little bit more when he actually gives me a call back here. I should have asked him to call a little bit earlier, but nevertheless, he's going to explain to you his experience in the Canadian justice system. Fred has been in the system for, we were talking about this last night over the phone, for at least a good, he's 20 years, 21 years, 18, 19 years, since 1992, 1993. But that's not the start of his experience with Canadian law, with racism, with inequality. I mean, Fred is one of the most inspiring spokespersons, I think, this side of my personal relationships with my friends back home, and on this side of university, because Fred puts a perspective on this unlike any other. I mean, people can talk about certain things, but I think when Fred, he knows what he's talking about. So he wrote this report back in 2004, and he wanted to address the human rights violations that occurred in the New Carlisle Detention Center in Quebec, Canada. And so All Things Wabanaki will be revisiting this report. He submitted it originally to the 7th District, the Mi'kmaq First Nations of the 7th District. That's all the chiefs and councils. It was printed and delivered to their offices, and also attention to all the Mi'kmaq people of Listigus, Geskapigiak, Gespeg, the chiefs and councils. That was in February 24th of 2004. I believe we have Mr. Metallic on the line, so we'll go to that. Hello, Mr. Metallic. Yes. Okay. We're going to be putting Fred on the line pretty soon here. This is a live show, and you know what? The best thing to do live is to just wing it live, because that's the way it is then. I mean, if you grew up on the res and were in a radio station for, geez, about 5-6 years, you know how to wing it on the radio station. So I'm talking to Fred right now. We're going to transfer him through the studio. Hold on. So like I was saying, Mr. Metallic had transferred from, how can I say this? There we go. Hello, Mr. Metallic. Can you hear me? Oh, he hung up. Oh, I accidentally hung up on him. Wait, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah. Well, yep. See, there you go. Well, there you have it. That's live radio for you. Hey, what can you do? You know, you can prepare for everything, but really, when it comes down to it, you know, things happen. But that's fine, because you know what, we're ready for that. So as we're waiting for Fred to give us a call back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose the listeners to what Harry Laforme had talked about as being the background factors and circumstances of Aboriginal offenders. This should be enough information to give you a background as to why there is over-incarceration, where that comes from, what are the contributing factors, and this is something that cannot be ignored, and I'd like to debate with anybody on such issues because this is a real part of the dark history of Aboriginal people in Canada. So let's hear it from Justice Harry Laforme here when he discusses the background factors and circumstances of Aboriginal offenders in Canada.
Aboriginal people have persisted for thousands of years. They've never been conquered in a war, and they have never surrendered their original right to govern themselves in accordance with their customs and cultures. Aboriginal people do not adhere to a single life philosophy, religious belief, or moral code. There are at least 50 distinct linguistic groupings among First Nations, and among Inuit and Métis there are many different dialects of languages spoken. Compared to the Judeo-Christian tradition that man is to, quote, fill the earth and subdue it, he is to rule over the fish in the sea, the birds of heaven, and every living thing that moves upon the earth. That's according to Christian Judeo tradition. The Ojibwe culture, and that's my culture, and thought man does not hold dominion over the earth and all its creatures. Rather, man is last in order and is the most dependent and least necessary of all the other orders. The very meaning of the word justice is understood differently by Aboriginal society from that of what I would refer to as mainstream society. Aboriginal people believe justice is about restoration of peace and equilibrium within the community, to reconcile the wrongdoer with his or her conscience and with the individual or family who has been wronged. Mainstream society, on the other hand, is about controlling the actions it considers potentially or actually harmful to society. The emphasis is on punishment for the deviant behavior as a means of making the person conform and to inform other members of society in respect of similar deviant behavior. Now, where do Aboriginal people come from? Well, usually they come from a reserved community where the rate of suicide is over 2 to 3 times higher than that of non-Aboriginal Canadians, and 5 to 6 times more prevalent among Aboriginal youth, and usually as a result of hopelessness and despair, where the life expectancy of Aboriginal males is 7 years shorter than that of non-Aboriginal men, and of Aboriginal women is 6.5 years shorter than that of non-Aboriginal women, where the infant mortality rate is double that of Canadian people, where violent deaths occur at a rate of 3 times greater than the rest of Canada, where they live in overcrowded housing at a rate of 15 times that of other Canadians, where some have unemployment rates of 80 to 90%, where many reserves do not have clean drinking water, where substance abuse is rampant, where about 45% have not attended high school, while the other Canadians, it is about 15%. I used to hear when I was younger that an Indian child had a better chance of going to prison than they did of finishing high school. And that was true then, and it's still true today. Where the average family income of Aboriginal people on and off reserve is about half that of other Canadians, where in some northern Aboriginal communities it is believed that between 75 to 90% of the women are battered and 40% of the children have been abused, where studies involving 7 reserves in northern Manitoba recorded that over 70% of the women and 50% of the men reported being abused, where from 1991 to 1999, spouses were responsible for killing Aboriginal women at a rate 8 times higher than for non-Aboriginal women, and at a rate 18 times higher for non-Aboriginal men. The first residential school opened in 1620, and the last school closed in 1996. 376 years of residential schools. That, as much as anything, is the distinctive face of the circumstances of Aboriginal people.
Well, there you got it right there. That is the distinctive face of Aboriginal people in Canada. 376 years of residential schools. Now, that is a part of history, and if you're a history student, I suggest you start opening those books and learning about the Canadian Holocaust of Aboriginal people in Canada. On the line, we have Freddie Lee Metallic Jr. Baby Fred.
Yes.
How you doing, bro?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, hanging in there. It's good to have you on my show, All Things Wabanaki. We have people from Facebook who are messaging us and saying, don't hang up on him again, and tell him we said hello. So that's pretty cool.
Well, everybody said hi. Well, I'm saying hi right now.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know you, Fred, I said a few things about you. I said that you're a Mi'kmaq. You've been in the penal institution for what, 18 years, 19 years?
In and out 18 years.
In and out 18 years. Since how old?
18 years old.
Since you were 18 years old.
Yes.
And back in 2004, you had submitted an independent report to the 7th District Chiefs.
Yes.
And it was about the human rights violations and Aboriginal rights violations occurring in the New Carlisle Detention Center.
Yes.
Can you just give us an idea of, like, from a human rights perspective, you had mentioned certain articles that were being violated, Section 12, Section 5, I believe. Maybe if you want to expand on that, or just kind of just generalize for our listening audience what, in your opinion, is going on in the prison systems here in Quebec and Canada.
Well, the whole report was based on the cruelty and our religious rights that were happening inside of the institutions. When I came in when I was 18 years old, there was no religious rights for natives at all. It was just the priest. There was nothing for natives, and it was racism. It was all kinds of cruelty. So I took it upon myself to start making a stand and calling